was an ambush.
How many did you save?
Just like a dream.
You did the only thing you could do. And you lost.
Like a dream.
Look, we're still in this thing.
The day you walked away.
But we have no idea what we're dealing with.
Unfortunate.
Things are getting worse around here, aren't they?
Boyd, we're out of food.
Too many things are changing here. I have to remember.
Remember what?
What's missing?
Nothing that I've been through is possible.
I think you're here for what's in the basement.
This place will not break us. We can still win. But the only way we go home is together.
Hello. Hit the mark. Go. The game here is rigged. Why can't they leave us alone?
No matter what this place throws at us, we're gonna find our way home. Everybody just talks about how afraid they are of dying. Well, I don't think that's the worst thing that can happen to you here.
Hello?
Like a dream.
You looking for these?
Into my life.
You can't save them all.
But things are really hard than you see.
Is this a bottle tree? Okay, look, it is it's getting dark. This is crazy. I'm seriously, I don't understand what's going on here. This is crazy. Am I supposed to read this or something? What? What? Are you kidding me? Are we picked up? We are picked up. Fromily, here we go, season 4. But it's getting dark, so if I'm gonna make it this season, I'm gonna get out of here. I'm going home. Season 4, I'll see you guys. I'll see you.
Once the baby is born, we all get to go home. You need to decide right now who you are.
This place, it doesn't give. It takes.
Are you okay? No, I don't think any of us are gonna be.
You said that you were going to let this place break you. This place is one.
Indeed, has this place won? Has Boyd officially been broken down to his limit? Or does our boy still have a little bit of fight left in him? I reckon he's still got some fight in him. This is Boyd Stevens, after all, ladies and gents. But welcome, everybody. Here we are. We have arrived to the season 3 finale of From. Well, around season 3 finale of From. The episode will be loading up on our screens in just over 2 hours from now, midnight p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will be doing a live watch party for anybody who wants to join live in the Discord, hosted by our pal here, Ravener himself. You guys know him, you love him. And I'm looking forward to it. Ravener, man, can you believe it? Here we are. The finale is upon us. It seems like this season flew by.
Yeah, man, it's been a wild ride, pretty fast altogether, and Yeah, and like you said, it's upon us. Tonight is the night, the finale. I know when they got the announcement, we were speculating that it was almost a certainty. It was like 99% certainty that it was going to be renewed for season 4. But we're like, well, when exactly are they going to time the announcement for? I'm glad they went ahead and got it over with. And that's one thing, a lot of things that they do with this show, they could drag it out, they could belabor the point, and sometimes they do in certain areas, but sometimes they just cut right to it. And in this instance, I'm glad they got done with it, they got it over with, and said okay. And it kind of also in the build up for the finale, it gives people the confidence. I mean, it's only been a few days, so if somebody had never heard of although I saw like some of the press that it was getting, it's still coming up on these top 10 shows that you aren't watching. And I was like, how the hell is it still at that point where this is a show that people aren't watching? But I guess that's the case. It is still being discovered, by the day, by new people, and welcome to them. If this is your first time, if you're just getting caught up or ready to go into the world of it is a deep rabbit hole, so get ready for that. But it is it's pretty awesome. And I saw people concerned, like, oh, now that they renewed it for season 4, they're not going to give us any answers. Oh, no, they weren't going to give you any answers anyway. Don't worry, it did not affect this finale. You are not going to get
you are not going to get it, regardless of whether or not they were going to get a season 4, which even before they started filming season 3, they already knew they were going to get a season 4. They know they're going to get a season 5. This is just it's just a matter of when they officially announce it, really. But they know they are on very solid footing right now, so that when they go into filming season 3, I promise, whether or not they were going to get a season 4 or not definitely doesn't impact what they choose to reveal this season. So you're right about that.
Yeah, and and I would almost guarantee that they're scripting 5 now. Or at least if they're writing 4, they're writing it with 2 seasons in mind, what they're going to reveal in 5. Because at this point, this is the crown jewel of MGM Plus. So they're not going to pull the plug on it until they're damn good and ready, I don't think.
And it's funny you say that. It is officially now the most watched show on MGM Plus. Officially now. Up until this point, Godfather of Harlem was the #1 watched show on MGM Plus. It was a little bit more established. It had been on for a few years before so it had a pretty solid audience already. But season 3 of From has officially passed Godfather of Harlem as the #1 viewed show on MGM Plus. So this show's not going anywhere anytime soon. However many seasons they need, they're going to get those seasons. Rest assured, this show is not in risk of getting canceled.
In my mind, I was thinking, I'm thinking of season 4, and I'm thinking of season 5. I know when we talked about it a lot, and even when we took polls and stuff, the chat we all seemed to settle right around 5 to 6 seasons. 5 on the low end, 6, on the conservative high end. Of course, if they could make it make sense and give us everything that we wanted, I would not be averse to, a 7th season or more, even if they make it make sense, if they don't go down the Walking Dead path or drag stuff on unnecessarily. But so I was thinking, even if they do set it for 5 seasons, now they have to fit everything in 20 episodes, 20 hours, essentially. Of course, it's really more like 20 sets of 40 minutes, but can it be done in 20 hours? I think it can. Say 15 hours. It's actually 15 hours of actual screen time, give or take. Sounds a little tighter, but I think it can be done. And I think they can tell a good story, and that would be a rarity, where they don't drag things out too long. They give everything a full resolution. All the characters are resolved. All the plot lines are tied up with a bow, and they literally just go out with a perfect ending. I mean, in the world of spinoffs and sequels and prequels and all that stuff, the toughest part would be getting the corporate side to agree to that. But artistically, I think it could be very close to perfection. And as critical as I've been of these last few episodes in this season, the same way I was critical of season 2 in large part, this is really still one of the better things out there. And
oh yeah, hands
it
down.
most of my criticisms come from where I think it could be better, but I would never say that this is bad, and I would never not recommend it to somebody at this point. This is still one of the safest recommendations. Still one of the safest recommendations of a show that you can make to friends, family, coworkers, whatever. And if they reject it, that's when you really kind of got to look at them with the side eye and wonder. This is going to be great. This would be a great Thanksgiving binge.
Yeah, indeed. And it's been interesting. I mean, we've been seeing, the fandom has definitely been growing, which is awesome. But the show is bigger now than it has ever been. And we're seeing people that are even just up until a week or two ago, just discovering the show and binging through it wicked fast just to catch up to where we are now. So it's awesome. Again, the fandom has a ton of momentum behind it. The show has a ton of momentum behind it. Yeah. And I think MGM Plus is definitely recognizing all of the benefits to having this show as their flagship show. And it really is becoming the flagship show on MGM Plus. Like someone said in the chat here a little while ago, there's a bunch of people that subscribe to MGM solely for From and nothing else. And I know that to be true because I see people saying, "Oh, I might deactivate my subscription after From ends." And for that, I would say I understand, but there are some other good shows on MGM to discover if you want. And it's such a cheap subscription service. It really, when you talk about subscription services, there's so many out these days. You got Amazon, you got Netflix, Apple. Everybody has their own streaming service these days. But in terms of what you get for what the price you're paying, MGM is definitely one of the better ones out there, I would say, in terms of it's a lot cheaper than a lot of the other streaming services. And once you actually explore it, and you see its back catalog and some of its other original series, there's a lot of really good stuff to discover on there. But yeah, it's definitely been bringing in a ton of new subs for the platform, and that's what they want the most. When a streaming service like MGM Plus, especially something like MGM Plus, who is fairly new in the streaming world compared to the established Netflixes and Amazon Primes, when you're MGM Plus, you want to see good ratings. Yes, you definitely want to see a lot of people tuning in every week to watching your show. But one thing you want to see even more than that is if your show is bringing you in subscribers. That is what they look for more than anything else. And seeing that From is bringing a ton of subscribers into MGM Plus on top of getting good numbers. Yeah, again, this show is in no way, shape, or form at risk of ever getting canceled. They'll get, or however many seasons they need to tell the story. If that's 4, if that's 5, if that's 6, whatever. Seems like they're planning right around 5 or so, what we've heard from some of the actors, but that could potentially change. You never know. However many seasons they're planning that they need to properly tell the story, they will definitely get it. And yes, should probably air it in the UK if they want more viewers. This is one thing that we've been hearing from a lot of people ever since early on in season 1, actually, even when the show was still relatively new, that unfortunately, there are still some parts of the UK, there are some parts of the world that still just don't have access to Amazon Prime or MGM Plus. Amazon Prime is becoming accessible in a lot more other places. So just because you can't get MGM Plus where you are, I would definitely still check out Amazon Prime and see if you can get it through that. It seems like a ton of people are watching through Amazon Prime, which is to be expected. It's a huge platform, and I totally understand why a lot of people would find it through there. But that is one thing that we've seen. There are still some parts in the world that don't have access to the show, and I imagine that will keep getting flushed out more and more as the show continues to get bigger and they start to kind of broaden their marketing base, which they've been doing a lot more this season compared to previous seasons. They made it available on Netflix in the UK and some parts of the UK, most parts of the UK, not everywhere, but they did put it on Netflix in the UK earlier this year before season 3 aired, just season 1 and 2 for people to catch up. And it shot up to the top 10 shows in Netflix UK in under a week of it being on there. So it's definitely a show that's going to continue to grow. And we've saw there's pluses and minuses that come with that when you see a show getting really, really big. But rest assured, this show is not getting canceled anytime soon. Season 4 is confirmed. They will definitely get a season 5, and if season 5 is all they need, then I guess that'll be the end of it. But they're in it for the long haul.
Yeah, and the other side of it was they said don't even expect it till 2026, and I was like, initially I recoiled at the very long timeline, but we had longer timeline.
I'm still recoiling a little bit, unfortunately.
I know. Well, during the strike, though, we had a
unfortunate.
longer timeline, and it turned out okay. I mean, that was one of our major concerns is the show had all the momentum in the world finishing season 2, and then the longest layoff ever. And it was like, oh my God, it was an artificially long layoff where we talked every topic up one side, down the other, theories, ideas, thoughts, everything. It was just exhausted, and still when the show came back, the hype started building up when the trailers started coming out. By the time the show came back on, this show here, bigger than ever. And From is bigger than ever. So that kind of told me that I don't think they'll have a problem recovering at all. I don't think they will suffer from a loss of momentum releasing it.
No, I don't think so. I don't think they will either. I mean, it sucks to have to wait a whole year. I mean, I imagine we'll probably get it pretty, it sucks to have to wait a whole year, yes. But yeah, once the show does come back around and we get, a few months out, just like we did this year, the trailers start coming out, the fandom starts getting momentum again, people start coming back in. Of course, you have your hardcore, diehard fans like us and, everyone that hangs here in the Discord and stuff. We'll be talking From all year round, like even throughout the hiatus, we'll always be talking From. But when the show does drop off and it's been off for a few months, then yeah, you start to lose that momentum. Your casual viewers that aren't crazy deep into it and nuts like we are start to drop off. But yes, once you get a little bit closer to that next premiere date, as soon as a trailer comes out, man, it really just completely reignites the entire fandom. We saw that this year as well, because we were wondering, especially with the extended hiatus after the writer's strike, the show was off for a pretty long time, longer than it originally was planning. So we were wondering, how exactly are they going to recover? And like you said, it was like they were never even gone. It just completely picked up right where it left off. And I imagine it'll continue to be that way every year. Like next year when season 4 is coming around, again, as soon as we see that trailer, we'll see the hype train starting once more. And speaking of the hype train, let's say what's up to this awesome chat here this evening as we approach 2 hours, guys. We are just 2 hours away from the season 3 finale. We got Robert Saunders for $20. Thank you so much, Robert. Very much appreciate you. Awesome member of the fandom. I am very proud of you and the Fromily. You and the fandom have grown, and I want to sincerely say a heartfelt thank you for bringing us all together. Your love of the show has created so many other channels. Congrats. That means the world to me, Robert. It really does. And to Ravener as well. Because we love this show and we love this fandom. We love getting on here every week and just hanging out, just shooting the shit with you guys sometimes. Sometimes we veer off and start talking about other things than From, which can be fun sometimes. But yes, the love for the show brought us all together, which is awesome. I'm super proud of how this fandom has kind of cultivated itself and how welcoming everybody has been. Like Raven was saying earlier, whether it's your first stream or your 100th stream here, you're always going to get met with open arms, as it were, not to sound too corny, but no, this has been an awesome fandom. You guys have been super chill, and yeah, we love talking about the show. This is one of those shows where it's not a show that you can just watch. It's a show that when you're done watching it, you just have that need. It's that itch that you have to talk about. It's one of those shows that you just need to discuss when you're done watching. I can only imagine, not how boring, but I can only imagine how frustrating it must be if someone was watching the show and they don't have anybody to talk about it with, considering all of the mystery, all of the theorizing that goes into it, all of the foreshadowing. Like, it's just one of those shows that you really need to discuss after you see it. So yeah, I'm super grateful for the fandom. You guys have been just absolutely incredibly supportive this year, showing up in record numbers every single week. And we're grateful. So super thankful. And thank you so much for the kind words, Robert. And to see that this channel has created other channels is a bonus, is a huge bonus on top of it. Whenever I see people going from the chat to creating their own YouTube channel and having fun with it and starting to do their thing, like, that's awesome. I love seeing like that. I love seeing that. So if this channel has inspired anybody, even in the smallest way, that is, just as rewarding as anything else. It's awesome to see those channels that have popped up. I know, Scarlett and Dana did it last year. Julie B did it this year. There's a couple other channels that are popping up. It's so awesome to see that happen. And yeah, more people talking From, the better, as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, enough of the dribble drabble. Yeah, it's
No,
wild.
it is. It's awesome. Yeah, PM started her channel very, very recently.
Yeah, oh, that's right. That's right.
Chelsea,
Let me
Susie
throw a
Green.
link.
Yeah, Susie Greenberg
Let me.
has one on the drawing board. She's dialing hers in, and the beauty of it is we could talk about this all day long, but we can't stream about it all day long. That's the thing. I mean, there is there's a finite limit. When you start your own channel, you get to direct it the direction that you want to go. If you want to go more into the theory crafting and the wilder stuff, you're welcome to do that. If you want to keep it grounded or only analyze the actual episodes, you can do that. It really, I mean, we kind of skate all over the place. We try to stay within the lines, but to greater or lesser success. But yeah, it's so cool. And to hear that other people have taken like this channel, or the success of Jeremy's channel, or the success of the various other channels. I mean, there's a lot of great channels that talk about From, and said, hey, wait a minute, I would do it. I like this, but I would do it this way. You can do it. I mean, YouTube is an open platform, man. You just have to have the willingness and that little I don't know what to call it, courage, that little part of you that says, man, I'm going to take that leap. I'm going to make that jump. I'm going to do it. And that's the toughest thing. I don't know that I could do it. I don't have a channel of my own. I'm the eternal co-host, and I'm content doing that. I don't know, because I mean, that was my thing. I was like, I don't really know what I'd talk about. I mean, I don't have a passion for something that isn't already done a million times, and I don't know the amount of work that Jeremy puts in on this channel. I don't know that I could do that for myself. So it's amazing, and when people want to do that, it's a great learning experience, and there's no better show than From to dive in. Yeah,
when it comes to that, absolutely. And yeah, it's just it's awesome to see some other channels popping up and in the wake of anything, like I said. But yeah, thank you so much, Robert. I very much appreciate you, my friend. Awesome stuff.
Very kind.
We got Don't Even Worry About It for $10 as well. Thank you so much. Don't even worry about it. Bring back Smiley. It was so awesome to see Smiley again, wasn't it? Even though it was just a quick little cameo, it was just, and for them to bring him back for a scene as profound like that, a big event like that, well, the death of Miranda, it was nice to see Smiley again. And of course, I know the fandom has been talking about, we finally get to see one of the monsters running. They can run. So that was pretty interesting as well. We've never seen any of the monsters run at their victims before, run at their target. They're usually very methodical and slow paced with their approach. So that was really cool. But yeah, Smiley's awesome. Smiley will never be gone from this channel. You guys know that. Poppy will, Smiley will pop up and keep an eye on the chat eternally. I mean, I might just start every stream with him looking down on you guys if that's the case. But
but no, it was cool.
It was cool. It was great to see Smiley again. Yeah.
And cool that they did it in a very tricky way too, because they didn't give him any dialogue, so they didn't have to credit him. So we didn't know that he was going to be there.
Yeah. Sneaky.
Plug him in. Yep.
Awesome stuff. We got Just Me for $9.99 as well. Thank you so much, Just Me. Love to all the Fromily and to all the other new great channels created from this. Absolutely, Just Me. I could not agree with that more. And yeah, as Ravener pointed out earlier, PM has just started up her own channel, which is awesome. Another great member of the fandom, always has really good takes. Her link is in the chat. Definitely subscribe to PM if you haven't already. Be nice to see her get to 100 subs. She's at right around 88 or so now. It'd be nice to see her crack that first 100. But awesome stuff. Thank you so much, Just Me. Very much appreciate you. And yeah, this gotta love the fandom. And thank you so much, Ando, as well, who has been a member for 3 months now. Thank you, my friend. My lords, Jeremy and Ravener, the best. Well, no, you guys are the best. 110%. It's all you guys in the chat who are the best. Without you guys, there would be no show. Because again, like I said, Ravener and I, and all this, we could talk about the show till our ears are bleeding. But we want to hear from you guys. We want to know what you guys have to say. What did you like? What did you not like? Where do you hope this is going? What are your theories? And that's one of the things we really try to base our show around is getting as much interaction with the chat as possible, because I know that's just something that we like to do here. But no, it's always good to know what you guys are saying. So whenever anyone says we're the best, I say, hell no, we're just a humble servant of the chat. You guys are the best.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
thank you so much, Just Me. And don't even worry about it. And Robert, I owe all of you a whoa.
And we'll definitely be doing rewatch. We'll be rewatching all the seasons starting from season 1 at various times. And actually, I was just before this show, as I was wandering around YouTube, I found a girl who does reaction videos, but she's a huge Game of Thrones fan, but had never seen Lord of the Rings. She's like, I knew Game of Thrones was influenced by Lord of the Rings, but I'd never seen it. And, part of me, had that heart attack recoil that somebody had never seen Lord of the Rings. But then I said, there's two ways to do it. You can either ridicule somebody or you could teach them. And I was like, you know what I'm going to do for the chat, because I love you guys, because I love this community and everything else. At one point, in between all the rewatch parties and all the seasons, I'm actually going to screen all the unedited. Yeah, the whole trilogy, the extended version. So, granted, it'll be like 15 hours, 15 hours of show, but some people have never seen it. And there's nothing wrong with that. But the thing is, it is so well worth it, well worth your time. So yeah, that'll be my gift. But you have a gift, like a literal gift planned for people starting tomorrow, right, Jeremy?
Yes, we do. We do indeed have literal gifts planned for tomorrow. We have been planning just a small little giveaway, just a very small gesture for us to say thank you to each and every one of you who have been supporting us every week. Whether it's showing up for the live streams, showing up and sharing and liking the videos and dropping comments and all that. We've been getting just record views. So yeah, we wanted to come up with a small way of just saying thank you to the fandom. And the way we are doing that is by doing a small free giveaway tomorrow night for the season finale live watch party. We do an encore watch party on Sunday night when the show actually airs. Tomorrow night, we will be doing a live giveaway, and we are going to be handing out some 3D printed talismans, some TV accurate 3D printed talismans that are each hand painted by Nick L himself. Nick L, an awesome member of the chat, an awesome From fan who just happens to be a master at 3D printing and hand painting. He 3D printed out some awesome looking talismans and then again went on to hand paint them to give them a little weathering, make them look extra awesome. And we're going to be giving them away right here on the channel, just at random. It'll be just a complete random free giveaway. We're going to give away a few talismans here. I know Scarlett and Dana are going to be giving away some on their channel as well. It'll be like a 2-night giveaway type thing. But here they are. Let's pull them up. Let's take a look at the awesome work of Nick L. And again, just a small way of us saying thank you to the fandom for everybody just, again, has been so supportive this year. And Dana even went a step further and made sure to get the patented rope twine that we see on all of the From talismans in the show. So you guys will actually be able to hang these things up in your window anywhere you want. And here they are, guys, the 3D printed talismans that, again, are 100% like accurate from the show. We got the same symbols and all. And yeah, it's awesome. I was super grateful to Nick and everybody that played a part in making this happen. We've been wanting to do something for a while just to kind of give back to the chat, just a small way of saying thank you to you guys for all the support. And 3D printed talismans has always been at the top of my list to do. And then when I saw that Nick was actually a 3D printer and he had actually printed some 3D printed talismans out, I was like, oh shit, light bulb, that's what we're going to do. And yeah, super grateful to him. So we got a bunch of them that we're going to be giving out between tomorrow's giveaway and the one on Monday that Scarlett and Dana are doing. So you guys have a chance to win some free 3D printed talismans. And all you have to do to enter is be a subscriber to this channel and Scarlett and Dana's and just be live in the live stream. Yeah, all you have to do is show up and hang out in the chat. We do our pregame and our watch party every Sunday night. And after the watch party is over, we will be giving away or raffling off these talismans to anybody in the chat who wants to participate. And again, just a small way of us saying thank you to the awesome chat. So that should be fun. Yeah. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, so super cool. And yeah, that was Nick just entirely on his own initiative. He's like, hey, I think I'm going to print some of these. And okay, yeah, cool. And he did. He went through the He made smaller ones, I think, like keychain size, and then he got those and it's like, you know what, I need to put a paint finish on the writing stuff, and he really got it down perfect. It was like, but just entirely on his own initiative too, which was just incredible. Yeah. So yeah, a super awesome thing, and the giveaway is going to be super easy. Like Jeremy said, all you have to do is be a subscriber to the channel. I think StreamYards is either StreamYards or somebody has a very easy way. Yeah, you put in a key phrase. It could be, it could be like put Talisman in the chat, and then everybody who puts that, and it doesn't matter if you put it in 50 times, you're only going to get one entry. But anybody who does put that in, then it'll pick it at random, and we'll find out who it is. Easy peasy, and send you off your
It's that simple. And the key, I love the talismans, the lifeline, the size accurate talismans are great, but man, the mini keychain talismans are fucking awesome, man. Like I want one of these myself. Shit. Like these are so cool, these little mini keychain talismans. But yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. Again, just a small way of saying thank you to all of the awesome people who have supported the channels over this year, over this season, the course of this season. And that should be fun. So tomorrow night, the giveaway will take place right here on the channel, and that we'll be doing it after the live watch party. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to handing out some talismans. So if these monsters ever do break out of Fromville into the real world, you guys, the few of you that win, will be set. You'll be ahead of the game.
Yeah, I wonder if the dangling keychain like secures your vehicle no matter what, so you can just pull up a blanket.
That's a good question. Like, yeah, will the keychain one just keep your car safe? I mean, maybe. Shit.
Yeah. Aldo says, "Be right back, dog." It's either his dog he has to tend to, or else he's just like, "Be right back, dog." So I don't know if he's. We'll see.
He'll be back in a minute. He's probably letting his dog out. No worries. No worries.
Be right back, dog. Hey, no problem, dog. It's cool.
Yeah, totally cool. But in the meantime, let's say what's up to the awesome chat. Let's see who else is hanging out in here tonight. Again, we got some time to kill. It's 10:15 p.m. Eastern right now. The episode airs on MGM Plus at midnight Eastern Standard Time. So we are around 1 hour and 45 minutes away from the finale. So here we go, folks. We got Gina Lloyd, Nick's Ticks Memes. Thank you so much, Gina, for the $2. Yay, we get a 73 extended minutes tonight. Yes, and I'm glad you mentioned that. I'm glad you reminded me, because that was one thing I did want to point out. Yes, we are getting I wish every episode would be this long, but at least for the finale, we are getting an extended episode. It is 73 minutes in runtime, and minus 5 or so, for the intro and the credits. But even still, we are getting a much longer episode tonight than we have gotten all season. So that is so awesome to know. A nice whopping 73 minutes. And again, probably 68, 69 minutes of like actual showtime. So hands down, the longest episode that we have gotten this season. Love to see that. So thank you so much, Gina, for reminding me of that. That was something that I did want to talk about. Because one thing we have noticed is some of the episodes this season have been a little bit on the shorter side. Some of them have been around 45, 47 minutes. And then once you take away the credits and the intro song, it gets even shorter. So it's nice to know that at least for the finale, we're getting a nice, long, extended episode. And maybe when season 4 comes around, we'll get some longer episodes. They were filming season 3 right off of a strike. I imagine they were trying to get the season filmed as much as possible. So maybe that could have possibly factored into some of the run times. Coming off of a strike, you never know what kind of conditions you're coming back to.
Right.
But for season 4, looks like they're going to have all the time in the world that they need to kind of film any scenes they need to do all the post-production that they need. So maybe in season 4, we'll get some longer episodes. But yeah, 73 minutes tonight. I'll take it.
Yeah. And when the strike lifted, they were in a position where they had to deal with what they had at hand. And in Nova Scotia, it was wintertime. And they talked about how variable the weather was, even from minute to minute. It would be snowing, and then they'd set up for snow, and then the next minute it would be drizzling. And we've seen a number of scenes. I don't know if you put 2 and 2 together, but I mean, there'd be snow on the ground, and then the next scene, it would just be damp. but nothing, no snow. And that's exactly what it looks like. I mean, you get a a little bit of snow ground cover and then a little drizzle and the snow is completely gone. And if that's got to be a nightmare for a camera operator or a cinematographer. It's like, well, what do we do here? There's no continuity. Aldous, welcome.
Yeah, man, great to be here. Great to have you back too, Ravener. Always a pleasure. And thank you again, Jeremy, for another week.
Indeed.
As excited as I am about From and it ending, I'm chomping at the bit to talk about Dune. So.
We'll definitely talk some Dune too. Yeah, this is our last week of From, and we are also covering Dune Prophecy here on the channel. So starting next Saturday, we'll definitely be doing a mix of From and Dune Prophecy talk. I'm actually enjoying it. I enjoyed the first episode, but yeah, we'll dive deep into that one for sure. But yeah, tonight we are gearing up and we are diving into the final episode. And I do have not only the trailer for the final episode loaded up here that we can take a look at here in a sec, but I also have a sneak preview scene of the finale. Super quick, and judging by the scene that it is, I imagine it's a scene that probably comes very early on in the episode. But we do have a quick little sneak preview of episode 10 that we are going to take a look at here in a moment. It's just a quick little 1-minute sneak preview. But we are going to take a look at that. But first, let's say what up to a few of you in the chat. We got Arrow in the house. What is up, Arrow? I see Ando in here. We got Really Bad in the house. I got Elizabeth in the building, Matt Gilbert, Nick L himself, the 3D printing master. For all of you who don't know, Nick L, this is the Nick L of infamy that did 3D print all of those awesome talismans and hand painted him himself. So again, big thank you to Nick for helping us out with that, and just again our small little way of giving back to you guys in the chat. Your toast. I'm going to end up being the weird family member who has to touch a hanging rock every time I open my front door. Hey, it's a From fan, right? It's a From thing. Just tell your family it's a From thing. Tell them to watch the show. Maybe that'll get them into watching the show. They'll say, "Hey, what the heck's this? What the heck's your toast doing over here with this weird rock?" And maybe they'll want to learn more about the show that way. So you might be drawing some people in that you don't even realize. So good stuff. Good stuff. I got Josiah in the house. What is up, Josiah? We got Robert Saunders in the building. Just me. What is up, just me? Let me pop on down to the bottom here. Let's see if I can say hi to some more people. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Got Heather Nicole. What is up, Heather Nicole? When will we know about season 4? Well, we do. We officially got confirmation that season 4 is a go. They are going to start filming in early 2025, and they have a 2026 release date. So it's coming, guys. Season 4 has officially been renewed. So get your cheesecake ready, as Blue has their cheesecake ready. Love it. Got Kay Miley in the house. What is up, Kay Miley? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good to see you. Got Amy Bones in the building. Welcome, welcome, Amy Bones. Good to see you as well. We got Xavier Anderson in the house. Hope we find out some new answers, and I hope the writers spoil the spoilers. Yes, love that. Love that, Xavier. Got Waffle Toaster in the house. What is up, Waffle Toaster? Got Stephanie in the building. Welcome, Stephanie. I see Salt is in the house as well. Welcome, Salt. See Loretta in the house. Bitter sweet. But can't wait, but don't want the season to end yet. 2026, a long wait, but worth it, I'm sure. It is. It's definitely a long wait, and I do believe it will be ultimately worth it as well. Yes. This is a phenomenal show. As much as I was really hoping that they could get the green light a little bit earlier and maybe start production a little bit earlier, than maybe just by some miracle we could get season 4 by the end of 2025. But at least with them giving them a very clear, a long cushion in between seasons, they'll have plenty of time to make the season as perfect as they possibly can. And now that we're getting into season 4 and 5 and potentially 6 territory, and according to the writers and John Griffin, we're getting to the part in the story where things are going to start advancing much more rapidly, and those answers are going to start coming at a much more higher frequent rate. So for everybody that is really chomping at the bit for answers, and I know there are a lot of you who do really want some big answers, I imagine we'll get a few tonight, but I think from season 4 on, just based on what we're hearing, from season 4 on, the answers are going to start coming much more rapidly. So we are getting into the thick of it now.
Yeah.
We are getting into the thick of it.
Yeah, I actually stumbled on the script for this upcoming episode, and I started reading at the beginning, and then scrolled way down, and then saw towards the ending. So I kind of know where the ending scene is, but they didn't have the people's names of who is saying what. So I really don't know anything, but I kind of do. But I had to stop myself because I was like, I really don't want to know
Yeah, I don't want
exactly
to know
what's going
anything.
on.
Yeah.
And I'm not even sure. Yeah, so I'm kind of I really don't know anything about what's going to go on. The one thing that is heartening, and I just learned that in this thread, or in the in this thread, in this in the show, was the 73-minute runtime. That is very heartening.
Yeah.
That means that there is a lot of show in there, even from what I saw from the beginning to the end. It's like, wow, okay. So and I guess it did help that the dialogue wasn't labeled who was saying it, so I don't really know who was talking to who when they were saying certain things. It's like, what the heck? But no, it'll be definitely worth it. And man, so even with an extended previously on and the intro music and the outro music, 73 minutes means we're going to get
Around
probably
68 or so.
66. Yeah, I would say yeah.
Usually minus around 5 minutes or so for the credits and the intro song and those few little commercials in the beginning. But if we're getting a 73-minute runtime, I imagine we're going to get a good hour, 6 minutes, hour, 8 minutes around there of like actual show.
And some of the previous episodes have been closer to like 41 minutes of actual show. So this is like an episode and a half at the very minimum. So I'm pretty excited about that. I think it's going to be great. Tug is in the chat.
We got Tug in the chat. What is up, that umbrella guy, for $5? Thank you so much, Tug, who's a huge inspiration behind me ever even starting a channel. Thank you so much, my friend. One constant is your fantastic coverage of From. Thank you all. Well, thank you so much. That really means the world, especially coming from you, my friend. And yeah, here we are, the season finale. I can't believe we're already at the final episode. Like we were saying at the beginning, I don't know if it's just me, but it really feels like it was just a week or two ago that we just started season 3. That we were just waiting for season 3 to start and waiting to find out what the heck was going to happen in that barn scene. That was the big question coming into the season. Based on the few trailers that they released before season 3 started, the whole fandom was wondering what's happening in that barn. Who is Boyd? What is Boyd watching in that barn? And there was so much hype around it. And then when we actually see the episode, boy, did it live up to expectations and even surpass them. But for me, it really feels like it was just a few weeks ago that we were right there starting the season off. And here we are now, 10 weeks later, getting ready for the final episode. And I can't thank each and every one of you enough for all of the support you guys have shown us this year. But yeah, here we are, guys. Final episode. Thank you so much, Tug, for the 5. Definitely owe Tug a whoa.
Yeah, Tug's good people. I've known Tug for 6 years, almost 7 years now, online, but good guy.
Yeah. Awesome guy. Awesome independent comic book creator of The Little Umbrella. Awesome. It's just such a fun book too. Especially if you have young children as well. I know it's a book that he and his daughter put together themselves, which is so cool when getting your daughter involved in the project. Awesome stuff. But yeah, man, I can't believe we're here. I cannot believe we're here. Yeah, time flies, doesn't it, Gust? Time absolutely flies. But I've enjoyed this season. Overall, yeah, I know there's been some, it's been a roller coaster of a ride, I feel, for season 3 up until this point. We've had some episodes that fans have really, really loved, and we've had some episodes that fans thought were maybe a little slow, which is totally fine. That tends to happen in every season. You're never going to find a season of television that's 100% perfect, unless you're looking at Twilight Zone, the first season, the original. But yeah, I mean, I've really enjoyed the season. I thought it started off with a bang. And one thing Rob mentioned last week in our Tuesday breakdown that I thought was definitely, in hindsight, does actually make a little sense. I can't believe I'm giving Rob credit of all people. But one thing I did notice is, yes, season 3 started off with such a high note. They set the bar so freaking high with those first 2 episodes in season 3, with the death of Tien Chen in episode 1, and then the aftermath of her death. Episode 2 might be even better than episode 1 in terms of seeing the aftermath of that death, seeing Kenny, and his reaction to it when he finally comes back to town, and the phenomenal performance that Ricky He has been putting on in season 3. So those first 2 episodes were they set such a high bar that it was almost impossible to kind of meet that bar every single episode for the rest of the season. It's not tenable. So every once in a while, you're going to have episodes that are a little bit slower in pace and are a little bit more of setup, setting up some more story arcs for later episodes. And we saw a little bit of that this season. But overall, as a whole, again, we still need to see the finale to really get a full accurate picture. But up until this point, I am very, very much enjoying season 3. It's been season 1 will probably always be my favorite season, but I can probably say I've been enjoying season 3 a little bit more than I've even enjoyed season 2. And I really like season 2 personally. But yeah, here we are, guys. Here we are. One episode remaining.
I got to agree with. Yeah, go ahead, Raven.
Oh, I was just going to say the episodes 1 and 2 were so strong because I hate to say it, but it was nighttime episodes. Episode 4 was strong because it was a nighttime episodes. The monsters they're great villains. Hey, surprise, surprise! The thing that will slash your throat wide open is a great villain. Yeah, they're great, and it gives you that pulse pounding immediacy. The threat is right there. The urgency, the way they film it is so much different than their daytime dialogue scenes and walking and trudging through the forest with dialogue back and forth. They're a lot closer when they're filming the monster scenes. You get that feeling that you don't have peripheral vision, so things can come from the side that you're not expecting, all that stuff. And that is when it's the strongest. We saw in the trailer that Boyd is walking around in the caves. The caves are a okay substitute, I guess, for nighttime, but and maybe they even add the claustrophobia a bit, but that aspect of it as well, and plus it kind of limits your escape routes. That's another aspect, so maybe it'll be stronger in the caves today. We'll see how it goes, but yeah, the more time they can spend with the monsters milling about, and we did see the rogues gallery, like the monsters lined up waiting for something. I'm not exactly sure what. And some monsters that we hadn't seen before, the bowling ball guy, the Lizzie Borden, as people who were calling her, the lady with the brooch around her neck, on her neck or whatever. So that'll be interesting. I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead, Aldous, for your thought.
No, I was just going to say he's not in the chat, or at least I haven't seen him. But Jeremy, you said there's no season that's perfect other than the first season of Twilight Zone. Henry Bemis, one of our regulars, famously named after the Burgess Meredith character from that Twilight Zone episode. This week was the anniversary of its original air date.
Yes,
so
indeed.
Did want to add that in. It's just I had to give Henry some little bit of a couple jabs on the Twitter feed and then in the chat of the Gunner on Friday for it. But no, you talk about perfect seasons, and you were talking about obviously Twilight Zone, but also from season 1, man, it's not perfect, but it's an absolute fan favorite just because of how much it puts the hooks in you. Season 2,
it just, man.
Well, I've liked season 3 a little bit better. They've accelerated that pace a little bit, and you haven't had some of those not dull moments, but expositionary moments that we had in season 2, where it was kind of just a little too much long, drawn out talking. We've actually gotten some good engagement in this season, and moving forward, I think it's just going to continue to amp up.
Yeah, I think so. And based on the way John Griffin has kind of been speaking in some of the recent interviews and stuff, it sounds like from the end of season 3 on, this is where we start getting into the meat of it, the thick of it. Early on at the beginning of the season, we saw that behind the scenes interview where he says season 3 is the end of the beginning. And I really think that's probably what he meant by that. From season 4 on, we're really going to be advancing this plot in a much more rapid rate. Answers are going to be coming at a much more higher frequent pace. So yeah, I think that it just feels like we're on the cusp of this show really taking that next step into the narrative and really kind of advancing things and setting up that ending. Pretty much, we've been building up to the middle up until this point. From season 4 on, we're going to officially be starting to set up the ending. I have a feeling is where this show is going. So yeah, I'm stoked. I'm very excited for the future of the show. Yes, it does kind of suck that we have to wait all the way until 2026, but once the show does come around, I am sure is going to be much worth the wait. And yes, here we have the awesome Rogues Gallery, and I was taking a closer look at said Bowling Man, because I thought there was 2 more new monsters here as well, but this is actually the same actor who was in the mechanic suit in the barn scene in season 1, the one that picks up Boyd's handcuffs when he drops him. Same actor.
Oh, okay, because they had 2 guys. I think because he had coveralls. Yeah, they had the yoke mechanic and then the other guy, and this was the other guy in the coveralls, but it was like the fat mechanic and the yoke mechanic, and I guess they were too similar.
That is a hell of a bowling shirt too, man.
It is a hell of a bowling shirt. And another thing I noticed, it looks like the blood stain that was on Milkman's suit is magically gone now. Remember, we saw him in that episode. He famously screeches and wipes the blood all over his shirt, and then we see that monster again in episode 4. The blood stain was still on his shirt, but now we see him here. The blood stain has magically disappeared. So these monsters certainly have an interesting way of getting blood out of their clothes. I wish I knew the remedy. Usually blood stains. And of course, this one right here. I don't recognize this monster before. This does seem like it is a new monster that we haven't seen in any of the previous scenes. At least I didn't really recognize her, and it seems like most of the fandom didn't either. So it's nice to know that even in season 3, we're still getting some new monsters that we haven't seen before that apparently have access to, Tide extra strength, maybe. So yeah, there we go. There we go. But let's play the episode 10 teaser trailer, and then we will talk a little bit about it. And I also, of course, have a sneak peek of episode 10 that we can take a look at as well. But without further ado, here is the episode 10 teaser trailer for the From season 3 finale.
Once the baby is born, we all get to go home. You need to decide right now who you are.
This place, it doesn't give. It takes.
Are you okay? No, I don't think any of us are gonna be.
You said that you were gonna let this place break you. This place is one.
This place has won, and it's nice to know that we do have a return cameo appearance from Father Cautry coming in the finale. And anytime I see Father Cautry on screen, I just have a little smile on my face. I don't know. I'm a huge fan of Father Cautry. At least I was in season 1. His character in season 1, his death scene in season 1, still to this day one of the most powerful death scenes I have ever seen, and just incredibly well acted. But Father Cautry is returning. But first, the trailer starts off and we see Boyd, Donna, and Sarah walking up the stairs, and based on the way the trailer is cut, it makes it seem like they are walking up the stairs to confront Elgin. So it looks like Elgin's his chicken has come home to roost, as it were.
We saw
Elgin is. Yeah,
we saw Elgis's look. When they were out by the Brundles, Ellis gave him that side eye that was like, man, this motherfucker, there's something wrong with this guy.
You know something I'm saying, aren't you? Come on, you're super shady. Super shady. So yeah, it looks like, I don't know what leads to it, but it looks like they are coming up and confronting Elgin. And another thing that we saw later on in the trailer, which I think is probably attached to this scene, we also see, now note the ugly wallpaper in the background. And Ellis staring intently, most likely staring at Elgin. I get the feeling they're probably questioning him here. But then we also see this one shot of Sarah, and we see that same ugly wallpaper in the background. And in the trailer, we hear Sarah say, "This place doesn't give, it only takes." Now, obviously, I don't think it takes a rocket scientist to figure this out, but she's most likely talking to Elgin here, probably telling Elgin that, no, whatever this kimono creature told you, whatever you think you're doing, however you think it's going to help this town and everybody else, it doesn't. This place does not give, it only takes. So I get the feeling they're probably trying to get through to Elgin here and get him to fess up as to where Fatima is.
Yeah, and you know, she would know. She's the one dialed in. I wonder if the spirits told her anything additional. I wonder if it
Yeah.
was Ellis's suspicion that guided them, or if it was
Or if she
literally
heard something.
Sarah.
Mhm.
Yeah, like just because they flat out told her that it's going to be too late, that Fatima's alone and scared, and you're not going to find her in time. So they were really rubbing it in. They were giving
Yeah.
Sarah all kinds of information. I don't know how much, unless that was the bad, you know, the bad spirits talking to her. Maybe the good spirits said, "Oh yeah, by the way, we're gonna, you know, do what we can to spoil the, you know, the bad spirits." I wonder if the spirits themselves are aware of what the other spirits are doing and like actively working to foil each other. In which case, for Sarah being the radio antenna for the spirits, that's got to be an unpleasant situation. People fighting over the mic.
Yeah, you're literally the microphone everybody's fighting over. Yeah. No, but yeah, because no, you do bring up a good point, and I've wondered that as well, because we saw at the end of season 1, it was a clear indication that Sarah was receiving these weird messages from multiple different spirits, and it seemed like some of them were a little bit more on the nefarious side in terms of manipulating her into attempting to kill children, and it seems like some of the other ones were a little bit more on the malevolent side, and might have even actually been the spirit of Boyd's dead wife Abby at the end of season 1, when she specifically tells Sarah about fish and loaves, but also says to Sarah, "Tell Boyd I was wrong. There's worse things out here than the monsters." And I think the "tell Boyd I was wrong" part was her trying to convey to Boyd that I was wrong. When you die, you don't wake up in the real world. Because that was Abby's whole thing. She thought if she killed everybody, she thought if everybody, you know, once you die in a dream, you wake up, is how the rule usually goes. So Abby got it in her head that if she killed everybody, everybody would wake up in the real world. And then when we see her communicating, or what appears to be her spirit communicating with Sarah at the end of season 1, and we hear her say, "Tell Boyd I was wrong. There's worse things out here than the monsters." That's kind of how I took it, that she was trying to tell Boyd that I was wrong in my theory. Dying will not bring you to the real world, and get the frick out of these woods because there's worse things out here than the monsters. But yes, could Sarah have tapped into spirit radio, as it were, that and given her some kind of clue that maybe pointed her to Elgin? Or, as you mentioned earlier, was Elgin's incredibly suspicious conversation that he had with Ellis, is that enough for Ellis to kind of say, hey, maybe we need to take a closer look at this guy? But either way, Sarah is the perfect person to kind of try and get through to Elgin here in this moment, I would feel, because she's been through this. She's been through this exact same playbook. She can actually tell him, no, I've been right where you were. I was under the same impression. These spirits, these voices were telling me all the same things they're telling you now. If you only do what I say, it will get you and everybody else home. To the point where she was completely twisted around and manipulated to the point where her moral compass was out the window. And Elgin seems to be in a similar spot right now, where even Elgin, after everything that he's seen, feeding Fatima his own blood, seeing this thing grow at a rapid rate, even after seeing all of that, Elgin still seems to think that he's doing something good. He still believes in his twisted mind that he is helping Fatima and helping the town. So it's going to be interesting to see if they're able to, if they're able to get through to him and get him to reveal the location as to where Fatima is. Because, as the other spirit said, running out of time. Running out of time. It's not going to get easier. So this is going to be fun, and I'm wondering, you think we'll see some, and I'd love to get the chat's opinion on this, and you guys on the panel as well. When Ellis finds out what Elgin did, you think we might see a little bit of a reckoning here? Could we potentially see Ellis maybe give Elgin a little bit of an ass whooping?
Do we see his face? Do we see Elgin's face? Because I don't know. I'm wondering if he is that oh shit, I'm caught face. It does kind of. He always has that face, though.
He's kind of always got that face, so yeah.
If they find out, it won't be Ellis.
I'd be taking it to him.
I don't think it'll be Ellis. Ellis is way too passive. I think what you're going to see is,
if anything could push him to that point, it's Fatima.
I think what you're going to see is he'll be trying to not rationalize it, but try to, talk it through, and you're going to see the rest of Colony House respond. It goes back to that moment where they were like, where they went back to her Fatima's 1-year celebration, and everybody was cheering for her, and they're going to be fighting against the lynching mentality. They're going to want to lynch Elgin.
That's a good point, because we have seen, Colony House has been, they have gone through a few instances like this. And even Donna mentions that in the greenhouse, right when they first find Tilly's body, that, it's one thing to hide every night from the monsters, but this is something that people are going to want somebody to blame for. So yeah, I could totally potentially see, some sort of little uprising maybe, or some members of Colony House maybe calling for Elgin's head, especially considering how beloved Fatima is at Colony House, which was one of the main factors in turning Donna and getting Donna to kind of change her mind. At first, Donna was going to tell everybody that she killed Tilly. Then Donna kind of had to think on it and had a change of heart when she realized how much Fatima means to not only her, but how much Fatima's light means to all of Colony House, as she put it. So yeah, I could definitely see the Colony House as a whole maybe wanting to get some answers, or potentially wanting to take some revenge on Elgin if they find out what he did. It's definitely possible. And we also got Really Bad for $4.99. Thank you so much, $4.99. Thank you so much, Really Bad, for the $4.99. Hey y'all, sorry if you mentioned it already, but do you cover Severance? If not, you definitely should. LOL, much love, brother. Well, thank you for that. I very much appreciate that. And I didn't cover it in season 1, but I will be covering season 2. We've been getting so many requests for some Severance coverage. Yeah. And I've actively just started watching season 1, and I know season 2 is coming out in around January or so. So I will be well caught up before season 2 drops. And then when season 2 does air, yes, I will be doing episode breakdowns on Severance this year. We'll also be covering some Silo stuff, which is going on right now. Yellow Jackets, we will definitely be gearing up and covering very heavily. Yellow Jackets is another really big one we're looking forward to. So yeah, we got a few awesome shows that we're going to be diving into, on top of doing all of the From content that we always do anyway. And of course, the From rewatch parties, which we are going to start next week. Every time a season ends, we do it every year, where as soon as the new season is over, we go back and rewatch the entire series right from the very beginning, season 1, episode 1, and we see what kind of new things can we pick up now that we didn't pick up on before. Now that we're seeing season 3 in its entirety, now that we have more context for the show and we've seen everything that it has to offer, we're going to be able to go back and watch the series from the beginning. And I guarantee we're going to pick up so many things that we didn't pick up the first few go-arounds, because now we do have that added context. So we're going to be doing tons of From rewatches. And yes, we will be covering Severance and a few other awesome shows as well.
Yeah, I definitely got into Severance. And that was another funny one, almost just like with From, because I remember somebody recommending it and I couldn't get it right in my mind. And I got it mixed up with Succession, which was another great series. And I ended up started watching Succession, and I was like, this is not anything like what you guys are talking about. Then I started watching Severance, and unlike most of them I'll get into and then drift away from, it took me a while to get into Severance. I was like, man, I started it and then stopped and started it and stopped. I just couldn't get into it. But this is one of the few series that I've experienced where I got into it. The more and the longer I got into it, the better it turned out to be, and I thought it finished strong. So it took me a second, because the guy reminded me of like a Dollar General version of Tom Cruise, the main guy in Severance. I kept calling him Tom Snooze, and I couldn't get myself out of that that mindset. But it was
Adam Scott. Yeah.
But it turned out to be a really good series.
Every time I see him, I don't know why, I always think of his scenes in Step Brothers when he plays the younger brother in Step Brothers. Yep. I don't know
it's
why.
It's the van scene with his wife.
Van scene, yes.
What am I paying for all these solo? Fine, I'll take it.
The punch me in the face, punch me in the face scene. Like that's the first thing I think of when I see that guy, is all of his scenes in Step Brothers. Yeah.
But it got stronger. So I'll definitely be following, and even if Jeremy doesn't want to, I'll be prodding him. Hey man, check out Severance. Yeah, so we'll be talking about Severance one way or the other. From was another one, because I knew there was a 4-letter word show, and I got it mixed up with Them. And there's a show called Them, which is about a black family moving into Compton, I think, when it was like in the 50s, when it was like a white suburb of LA or something. Yep. So I was like, this is nothing like what was being described to me, and then found out that it was From, not Them. And that's how I started with From. It was so, and the rest is history as far as that goes. But yeah, man, there's a lot of good stuff on the horizon too. A lot of worthwhile TV. It's hard.
Yeah,
I
there's
mean,
some
it is.
wild
It's like
plays out
panning for
there.
gold. I mean, there's going to be a lot of stones, a lot of sand, but you'll get a gold nugget from time to time.
You will definitely. You'll definitely get some gold nuggets every once in a while. Am I tripping? Or when we were introduced to Elgin, he was sleeping on the bus. When he woke up, he recognized Fromville, did he not? It seemed like he did. Yes, Shorty. It did seem like he did. Yeah. Because that was one thing that was very strange about his dream. It wasn't like he woke up and he was just kind of afraid. It was like he woke up and he was afraid because he knew exactly where he was. And he's looking around and telling everybody, "We need to stop. We need to turn around. We need to turn around." And then even after the bus stops and they're kind of already stuck at that point, somebody comes up to him in the bus and asks how he's doing, and says, the person says to him, "Do you know where you are?" And he says, "Do you know where we are?" Like, in the tone that he says, that he says it back to the person, you can tell it's like, "I know exactly where I am. Do you know where we are? We're in a place where we should not freaking be," kind of tone. So yeah, I definitely got that same vibe from Elgin when he first arrived into the town. We know that he had that dream sent to him by the boy in white about the nursery rhyme and everything else that Elgin probably still doesn't even remember. Yeah, I imagine there's probably still parts of the dream that he hasn't fully remembered. But yes, it did seem like when he woke up, he instantly kind of recognized that what this place was, or at least instantly recognized the danger that it posed, for sure. For sure. I really think season 1 of Yellow Jackets is 10 out of 10 season. It is. Yeah, season 1 of Yellow Jackets is great. Season 2 was good. I do prefer season 1 myself, but even season 2 I thought was really good. But yeah, Yellow Jackets was one of those shows that had been, I had so many people recommending it to me for so long, and I just never really had the time or really had the chance to kind of sit down and get into it. But then when I finally did, this was before season 2 started. I didn't catch season 1 when it was on TV, but I caught up in between, and I was instantly hooked. I mean, at first I wasn't quite sure what to make of it, if this was going to be a show that was for me. But then the more you get into it, you're like, oh, okay, I can totally see now why so many From fans like Yellow Jackets, because there are a lot of similarities in terms of tone, the mystery aspect, the supernatural ambiguity of it all. So yeah, I wasn't too sure on Yellow Jackets at first, but then when I finally sat down and watched it, I was instantly hooked, and I feel like that's going to be after From ends, that's the show that I'm probably looking forward to the most outside of Night of the Seven Kingdoms, the new Game of Thrones spinoff that'll be coming on in spring. So yeah, we got some really good shows to look forward to, and like you, Ravener, how you had a slow time getting into Severance, that was the same thing for me with Silo. When I first started getting, because Silo is one of those shows where it's a very slow burn at start, and some people have a tough time getting through those first 2 episodes, and I'm one of them. The first like 3 times I tried sitting down and watching Silo, I just couldn't get through those first few episodes because they were kind of slow in pacing. But then I gave it another chance, and I sat down and I really kind of paid closer attention, and I started getting into it more and more and more as the season went on. By the time I got to like season 3, episode 3 or 4 of Silo, I was hooked at that point. Not instantly, excuse me, but I was hooked by the time I got to like episode 3 or 4, because it is a bit of a slow burn, but it's worth it once you get to the meat of it. Silo is a phenomenal show.
What I found interesting about Silo, having read the books, was, and number one, like, man, we're even at the start of season 2, we're not even at the halfway point of Wool, which is the first book, which is crazy when you think about it, because a lot of times when you're talking adaptations, they always rush and they skip over a bunch of stuff, and that was one of the things that they didn't do, and I was impressed having read Wool. It didn't take me the time to get hooked. I was interested because I was like, oh man, how are they going to do it? It's not a 100% full faithful adaptation, because you're never going to see that, because you can't directly translate a book to screen, but they're doing a really good job keeping the story as intact as they can, in my opinion, for the direction that they're headed. And so while I wasn't, I didn't have the problem of getting hooked like you did. One of the things that I found was like, I had like this hesitancy to move on after 3, instead of you being hooked at 3. I was like, oh, I'm not sure where they're going to go with this. And it was like by 5 or 6, I was like, oh, okay. Now I see how they've skipped around a little bit and adjusted things. And it's been a really fun ride. I'm really looking forward to season 2.
Yeah, me too. I haven't started season 2 yet. I know there's been 2 episodes, I believe, so far. So I'm rapidly trying to catch up on Silo and watch those first 2 episodes, and I'll probably just do an episode 1 and 2 breakdown rolled into one. But yeah, those of you who, because I've gotten a few asks as to when the Silo content is coming, I promise you it is coming soon. I will have my episode 1 and 2 breakdown out, and I will also have my episode 2 of Dune out as well, because we have episode 2 of Dune Prophecy coming tomorrow as well. So we got some awesome other shows that we are definitely looking forward to, on top of course, the From rewatches that we are going to be doing right here every week, starting all the way back from season 1, episode 1. And we are going to relive the entire experience all over again and see what new kind of clues, what new Easter eggs we'll be able to pick up on that we didn't pick up on previously, now that we do have that that extra context after seeing season 3. But we are getting closer and closer now. When does the episode drop? Says GXR. The episode is dropping in just over an hour from now at midnight Eastern Standard Time. The episode will be live on MGM Plus and on your Amazon Prime apps as well, and we will be watching it in our Discord as well. Anybody who wants to come and join the live watch party in Discord, everybody is welcome, of course. And yeah, we're getting closer and closer now, guys. Just 1 hour away, 1 hour and 7 minutes away from the season finale, season 3 finale of From. I'm ready, guys. I am ready. And I know this has been one of those seasons where once we got a little bit towards the end, I know that there were some kind of spoilers and leaks that were kind of spreading around the fandom. And I deeply apologize to anybody who managed to get spoiled. That sucks. I was lucky enough that I've been able to avoid the spoilers up until this point. And it sucks. It really is easy to avoid spoilers. But at that point, it's really just a matter of limiting your engagement with the fandom. And that's something that I hate to have to do. I love engaging with everybody in the fandom, whether it's here in the live chat, whether it's in our comment section, whether it's in our Discord. I just love talking with fellow fans of the show. But unfortunately, it did get to a point where the spoilers started to kind of get flown all over the place, and some people did see some spoilers that they wish they hadn't seen. And if you are one of those people, I am terribly sorry. That sucks. All I would ask is that please, no spoilers in the chat tonight. There are still a lot of us that haven't seen any of the leaks, and we want to go into this final episode not knowing what is coming. Yeah. So if any of you have seen any of the leaks or some of the spoilers, I just ask that you please respectfully just leave them out of the chat. Don't type them in chat, because there are a good portion of us here that haven't seen those leaks, myself included. And I really want to go into this episode as clean as possible. And it sucks that there's even this aspect into the fandom. And this is always something that kind of happens when shows get a little bit bigger. You go back to season 1 and 2 of From. It was a much smaller fan base, and you didn't really have problems like this. Like, you didn't really have to worry about leaks and stuff like that. But once a show really starts to get bigger and bigger and more popular and really spreads out more and more, it's just an inevitability. It happens to almost every show that is out nowadays that builds up a decent following. You're gonna get to a point in time where leaks and spoilers start to flow out. And again, there is an easy way to avoid them, but you have to limit your engagement with chat. You have to limit your engagement in the comment section. I don't have a Reddit account. I never go on Reddit anyway. But if you are a From fan that does usually frequent Reddit, I would recommend probably staying away from places like Reddit and stuff like that. Reddit is usually a big place where you'll see tons of spoilers, from what I'm hearing from a lot of the fans. But yeah, just out of respect to everybody who hasn't seen these spoilers or the leaks, please, no spoilers in chat. And I appreciate everybody respecting that, because again, most of the people who hang out here, and I say this every week, but just about everybody who comes and hangs out here, you guys have all been super respectful. I really probably don't even really need to even say this, but just because everybody here has been very much adults and they respect the no spoiler rule. So I very much also want to thank everybody on that front as well. A big thank you to everybody in the chat, because I know there are a few of you who did see the spoilers, and I very much thank you for not putting them in our chat, at least, because we want to keep our channel a place where people can feel, like they don't have to worry about getting those spoilers when they come and hang out, because these spoilers have started infecting so many different aspects of the fandom, from Reddit to Facebook groups to even sometimes popping up in the Discord. So I do appreciate everybody not dropping the spoilers, and I also thank each and every one of you for respecting that rule, because we are only 1 hour away now, guys. The spoilers are going to come in droves soon.
I went looking for them on Reddit just briefly, and a lot of things that were marked as spoiler were just a lot of theories. I didn't actually stumble upon them, but the thing is, because there's a spoiler tag, if you start disregarding the spoiler tag, and because most of it is just theories, then you may stumble upon spoilers for sure. And of course, and it does need to be said, because we already had somebody in our chat who felt like they wanted to fuck around and they found out. And I'm not gonna be nice.
It's good to have you back, Raven.
yeah. And that guy's out for a half hour because I'm not dicking around with a 30-second timeout. So, and the next one will be a channel ban. So, it's okay. It's okay. You make that decision. But thing is, for a finale, people are going to do that. It's the most attention they're ever going to get. Well, they thought they would get.
And again, for the most part, like you said, you get a troll or two every once in a while. And again, now that the fandom has really gotten so big, you do get a troll or two every once in a while. But yeah, it's it sucks. But for the most part, again, I'm super grateful that everybody, just 99% of everybody who shows up here is very respectful to the no spoiler rule. And yes, this group is so fun. I love this show. Me too, Christine Jellybean. 100% agree with you. I love talking about the show. I love hanging out with everybody here. Again, whether it's here, the Discord, anywhere. Diving into the show has been just so fun this year. I must say, I probably had the most fun covering the show in season 3 than I have had in any other season. I always love covering the show. I always love talking about the show, but I think I probably had the most fun covering it this year with each and every one of you, kind of diving into it, seeing this awesome fan base grow in the way that it has, seeing our chats, all of our channels kind of grow a little bit, has been super cool. And it's just, I very much appreciate you guys. Yeah, Ravener's not playing.
I think it's a product of it really is a product of the more the merrier, though. I mean, the more people we have, the more ideas, the more theories. I love it when we put up a poll and we're getting, we get 100-something results, and it's so funny because we did one even just in our last show, and it started out, it was really like 53-47. So all of us are watching the exact same show, and we ask, I consider our chat pretty much experts, because they range from casual fans to super fans, but they tend to be on the deeper end of the fandom. So all of us are watching the exact same show. We'll put up a question that's a yes or no, and we'll get a 53-47 result where people are getting diametric opposite takeaways from watching the exact same thing, which is so crazy and so super cool. And there's there's so many more people, so many more new ideas, different perspectives. And then, people will come up with things that they've seen, like, hey, did you notice that in the background? Or, hey, did you notice that? And so a lot of times, even when we're watching the episode 2, 3, 4 times in prep for a show, maybe there's certainly times when I've missed things. There's certainly times when I've watched it 3 or 4 times, came away with an angle. And then when you and I are talking about it, or the chat is talking about it, it's something, the reality of it is something that I had never even considered as a possibility. So I love how fluid the theory crafting can be, and how, I can come up with an idea and throw it out to the chat, and then sometimes it gets reinforced, but then every bit as often it gets debunked immediately, because there's some aspect in the past, or some aspect in something that happened in that episode that I didn't catch on to. And I'm like, okay. So I can dismiss that theory. I don't have to burn the calories going down a rabbit hole that ultimately, leads nowhere. I love that. Yeah, and you guys keep me on point, man. Yeah.
A show like this with all the twists and turns, it is one of those shows where you do kind of need to be flexible and learn to be a little bit adaptable with your theory crafting. Because like you said, I've been in very similar situation where I've had a theory in my head that I was so sure of, and then next thing you know, a new episode comes out and you see a few details and it's like, oh shit, I got to completely rethink this now. Because yes, you do have to. That's why I always kind of say I never stay stay too married to any one particular theory, because you do need to be adaptable on a show like this. We try to take what the show is giving us and interpret it in the best way that we can, of course. But yeah, every once in a while, you kind of have to reevaluate, and you have to be really flexible in your theory crafting, because one minute you'll think this is happening, and boom, next thing you know, you're being taken from a completely crazy ride in a whole other direction. So that is true. You got to be flexible with that theory crafting. We got Official Rico. Thank you so much, Official Rico Finesser, for the $2. Thank you guys for a fun and safe place for From fans. Well, that is absolutely the point. We love that. And yeah, I mean, it's just, again, it sucks that the spoiler aspect has been introduced into the show, but I very much appreciate, again, 99% of the people who show up here are very respectful to the no spoiler rule. So I very much appreciate that, because yeah, you want to have at least a few places where From fans who haven't seen the spoilers and haven't seen the leaks can go, and they don't have to worry about seeing that stuff. So I very much appreciate that, and everybody in the chat for kind of helping enforce that rule. You guys really are the best. And Amy Bones for $1.99 as well. One more hour to go. Hit that like. Yes, guys, 1 hour away, less than 1 hour away. Now we are just 57 minutes away. And of course, when we get around 5 or 10 minutes or so away from the app, I'll probably end the stream right around there, so everybody has enough time to kind of get your bathroom break, get your drink break, your cannabis fix, whatever it is that you're into. You guys will have plenty of time to refresh, and then have plenty of time to dive into the Discord and join the live watch party that is starting just after midnight. So thank you so much, Amy Bones, and thank you so much, Official Rico Finesser, for the $1.99. And we also got Colin Bolt here. Now, this has been an interesting question that we've had some pretty in-depth debates on this subject in the past on the channel before, and for good reason. It's always a very interesting topic to dive into and discuss. Do you think the boy in white is evil? Man, oh man, oh man. I gotta say, I was always very sus on the boy in white myself, personally. I was never quite sure what to make of him. Could we trust him? Does he really want to help out the town? Does he really have his own agenda? I kind of went back and forth on it for a long time, but I am starting to get to the point where I do feel like he is not evil. I don't think he might not be 100% great. I don't think he's any angel, but I don't think he's evil. I do think he genuinely does want to break this cycle that has been repeating over and over and over again. And we hear him kind of say that, but a little bit of that to Victor here in episode 9, where he tells Victor, when Victor asks for help, he says, I've tried that once before with Christopher. And we all know how that ended. That 1974 timeline ended with the entire town getting slaughtered. So maybe the boy in white, well, not maybe, clearly the boy in white is taking a different approach to this time period and this group of people here in Fromville, where he's not giving them as much as he gave Christopher, it seems. It seems like he wants them to kind of figure some things out on his own. And he only kind of intervenes here and there when it's like absolutely necessary. But up until this episode, I was still kind of back and forth on it as to whether or not the boy in white was evil, whether or not he was good, or whether or not he was neither evil nor good. Maybe he just had his own method entirely, and he was just a presence here in the town. But I do ultimately think that he does want to help. I think his ultimate goal is to break this cycle and maybe, hopefully, potentially, finally save these Ankui children successfully where everybody else has failed in the past. So I am starting to lean a little bit more towards the side of good. But what about you guys? Let us know in the chat. What do you think of the boy in white? Do you think he's good? Do you think he's evil? Do you think he's in between? What do you guys think of him? And you guys as well. Ravener, good or evil for the boy in white?
I think he's unaligned. I think he's generally good. He's almost like a regular person, except he's a kind of like wrapped into Fromville. But I think he's not malevolent. He's not like an evil thing, and he doesn't want to keep people here. I think he'll use the people he needs to use to end whatever cycle keeps repeating. So I think he's trapped. I think he wants out, but not any more evil than a regular person. necessarily.
I do think he's trapped. I think he's not only trapped in Fromville, but I think he's been trapped in this state for so long. Because even we hear Victor, for all these years you've been the same. Now all of a sudden, even the boy in white is aging, and I thought that was a pretty clever, a pretty clever way on the writers' parts to kind of excuse why the boy in white looks so much older now as he did in season one. Because again, I know we talked about this at numerous times, but this is one of the risks that you run into when you cast child actors in long-running series. It gets to a point where the kids start getting up, they start growing up, and they start getting older and older and older. Look at Ethan right now in season 3 compared to season 1 Ethan. He looks like he's aged 5 years. And for the people inside Fromville, they've only been there for over a month. Only a little over a month of actual time has passed since the Matthews family arrived here. It might seem like a lot more time has passed to us as the audience because we wait a whole week in between episodes and a whole year in between seasons. But in terms of the characters in the actual town, it's only been a little bit more than a month since Jade and the Matthews family arrived in here in season 1, episode 1. So yeah, you get to a point where you hire these child actors and you get to season 3, 4, and 5, and all of a sudden they're starting to look incredibly older. So you got to find out with some kind of workaround to explain why they look so old. So I got to at least give John Griffin some credit here in season 3, where he came up with a pretty clever way to kind of explain why the boy in white looks so much older now compared to previous seasons. And it kind of fits. I mean, we have seen everything here in Fromville has been changing in terms of the weather, the snow. This place has been in a pretty much a state of change ever since midway season 2. So I think it does make kind of, a little bit of sense. I feel like it was the best possible explanation they could have come up with for why the boy in white looks so much older now.
Yeah, and I love that they settled it in a ping pong, like a back and forth. It's like, well, you look different. Well, so do you. Bump,
so
right.
do you.
I was like, oh shit, okay, done.
Well,
and
that goes back. That goes back to the character moments that I was talking about 2 episodes ago. That's one of the things that season 3 has done really well. While I haven't had full positive feelings about every aspect of every episode in season 3 like I did with season 1. There've been some awesome moments that redeem themselves. So for every lull where you're like, what? Like some of the scenes with Acosta, for example, where it's like it's dragging on just a little too long. And unless you're going to really sell this in the finale, it's character moments that aren't really needed. You have moments like this where you're getting some great interaction between Victor and the boy in white. And that was a great exchange of back and forth. And it's really a great example of the sharp dialogue that you've gotten, I think, in an uptick for season 3 versus season 2.
And it's settled now and forever. It's now if they have him back next season and he looks even older. Oh no, we already talked about that in season 3. So be done with it and carry on.
Yeah. But yeah, it was again a clever little workaround for John Griffin. But now they need to kind of explain why Ethan looks so much older, because the actor playing Ethan also has grown up a ton. And usually in situations like this, there's usually 3 standard options when you get to situations like this where a child actor gets a little bit too old for their role. They'll either kill the character off, they'll either recast the role as a new actor, or they'll write in some kind of time jump into the story that explains why they look so much older. So apart from anything like that, I mean, it was pretty interesting that John Griffin came up with a 4th option here for the boy in white. But yeah, I wonder if they'll ever have to address the Ethan thing, because again, Ethan does look a little bit older. But then again, it's one of those things where sometimes maybe you can just hope the audience kind of suspends disbelief. And I do that every once in a while with some scenes and stuff. Like you have to make allowances for certain things, considering it's a practical business and some things just can't be done. But Ethan and the boy in white, they're gonna have facial hair. By the time we get to season 5 or 6, we're gonna see Ethan and the boy in white with like full beards, pounding down beers or something.
Yeah, well, Ethan, I mean, he's got the chubby cheeks and the little boy haircut, and you can get a lot of mileage out of those 2 things. But yeah, puberty's going to be a bitch. So if he starts getting lanky and dangly and stuff, a spotty,
like the boy in white is now. The boy in white's a little bit older than Ethan. I haven't looked it up, but I think Vox Smith, the actor who plays the boy in white, I think he's a little bit older than Ethan. So it seems like he's hitting that phase in his life where, he's growing at a rapid rate. Boys grow old. But it'll be interesting to see what happens if they have to kind of address it on Ethan's end at one point. They've already completely addressed it here on The Boy in White, so they don't have to worry there. But they might have
Right.
to worry a bit on Ethan. I mean, could they potentially recast Ethan at some point? I mean, maybe. I hope not. I feel like, I mean, I'm not a big fan of recasting roles myself. Like, it can be done well. Don't get me wrong. I have seen a few roles that I thought could not have been played by anybody else. And next thing you know, they're played by somebody else. And it's like, oh, okay, they're good. Like Spartacus, for instance. Season 1 of Spartacus was so good. Andy Whitfield was so good as Spartacus. I didn't think anybody would be able to fill his shoes when he tragically passed away from cancer. And then they cast Liam McIntyre. And he completely won me over after like 2 episodes of watching him. So recasting the role can work if you get the right actor, but I guess it's just my personal preference. I'm just not a big fan of recasting new actors in the same role.
Yeah.
Well,
and it has to work.
recasting Ethan would be easy because you have him go into a faraway tree, and then when he comes back, in the same way that Tabitha came back, more time passed, right? So then it's no different than you have 2 separate actors in James Cameron's Terminator 2 playing John Connor. You've got the one when he's a 40-year-old man in the middle of the revolution, and then you've got him playing another actor playing the teenager. Same way, you just do a time slip, and more time passed before Ethan came back if you wanted to do that.
But that'd be the first instance of that happening in the show, and they haven't really established. I mean, they've done more to establish that time passes the same both inside and outside of Fromville, by Tabitha being gone for 3 days and Ethan basically having just ran away 3 days later. I love that the thing that they and I know they didn't make it, but they did repost it in our Twitter. That was the timeline of exactly how much time had transpired in all of the episodes, and it was really like 27 days. 27 days in Fromville from season 1, episode 1 through, I think they were already up to like episode 8 of season 3. So, and then there's like another day and night coming up here. So between then and now, so it's crazy. But yeah, do you think they could do that?
No, it would break their own established canon. But that's how you handle that.
Oh, okay,
right?
okay.
You'd
have to write it in that it
right. You'd have to write it in that Ethan disappears and Ethan's gone, and then by bringing him back at a different age, you would be fracturing the style, right? Because Victor's aged the same rate as his father. So, and that would be the issue, is then now you have another thing to explain that you're writing yourself into a corner of having to explain why. And then that brings it all the way back to Martin. With, if you're putting that in, then now Martin can be from any era. He doesn't have to be from his own era because you can move backwards in time. Yeah, and earlier somebody was mentioning Dark, and Dark has that issue where it gets very convoluted in Dark and it works because they were very careful with it, but it gets very convoluted with who's who. In one instance, you've got a character that it's his best friend, but he's really his best friend's father, and you get that conflict of how does that work. But you also asked about the Boy in White, and is the Boy in White good or evil?
Yeah, do you think he's good or you think he's evil?
I think it's contextual. If you're of the camp that assumes that he's trapped and he's a trapped spirit or a trapped entity or a trapped soul, then he's trying to get out, and then he's good because he's trying to escape. He's doing what's in his own best interest. If you assume he's part of the system, then he's evil. But it's what you're, and I think that's one of the things that this show has done really good is it shifts contextuality, and it plays with whose motivations. Everybody's individual motivations are what you assume are why they're trying to get in or out of Fromville, and that you're playing with very nebulous concepts, but it's very loosely defined, and that makes it fun because it's all conjecture. And then when you get pieces of it, you're going, well, there's got to be somebody that's bad in this place because you've seen the kids on the altar, and there's no good that's going to come out of sacrificing a child. But at the same time, does the Boy in White is it just a loose spirit that wants out of this place, and that's why it pushed Tabitha out of the lighthouse saying it's the only way? Or was there something beyond that? And that's where it gets into the motivational aspect. So you can read it. I mean, however you want to read it. It's you kind of place your own transparency over the whole show with what your own inflection is and how you want it to be, right?
Yeah, and he must have been somewhat confident that you can push somebody out of a lighthouse and it won't kill her. I mean, she got scratched up by apparently by shrubs and stuff.
Yeah, he must have known he was sending her to the real world. And that's the thing, like if how did he know that he was going to be able to send her there? Or does he have the ability to open one of those kind of, as Jade was putting it, he talks about kind of opening up a dimensional rift potentially and traveling from Fromville to Camden, Maine. He thinks that's maybe what Tabitha did. Could that potentially be what the boy in white did? Does he have that ability to open one of those dimensional rifts, but yet he himself can't go through it? Maybe he can only put other people through it, something. But yeah, it is a lot of times a matter of perception. But at the end of the day, what his end game goal is, I guess that very much can be determined in good or evil. Once we see what his true end game goal is, then we'll learn a little bit more definitively if the boy in white is good or evil. Again, I tend to think he is on the side of good a little bit more. It does seem like he genuinely wants to break this cycle that has been happening for so long, and it seems like saving the Onkui children, successfully rescuing the Onkui children seems to be the thing that could potentially break this whole cycle and finally put a stop to all of this. As he says in episode 7, the end, if you want to get to the end, you got to go back to the beginning. So I think it's going to start with the children. It's going to end with the children. And that will be ultimately, hopefully, how they complete this whole quest. Because I feel like we've talked about this numerous times, but a story like this, the writers always tend to give you everything you need to solve the story very early on. They just hide it very well. They hide it right in plain sight because you don't have enough context to even know what to look for. But Ethan's line very early on in season 1, when he states that this is a quest and how everybody has an important part to play, and once we complete the quest, then we can go home, and how once you get to the closest to the end of the quest, that's when it gets the scariest, yada yada. That was pretty much a direct blueprint for how the entire show is going to play out. And I do think the quest, in a sense, is going to be saving these Onkui children. But how long before the watch party? We are getting closer and closer now, guys. We are just 42 minutes away. 42 minutes, 41 minutes away now from the season finale watch party. And of course, once that time has arrived, we will end this live stream, and everybody who wants to join the watch party, all you got to do is click that link that sends you to our Discord. And we have the episode getting ready to load up as soon as it is available on MGM Prime, which will be right at midnight Eastern Standard Time, which is, again, 40 minutes or so from now. So yeah, 40 minutes, guys. We got 40 more minutes to dive into anything we want and kill some time. Actually, I think now is a perfect time to play the preview scene of the finale. I have a sneak peek, just a quick little 1-minute clip, but I have a sneak peek at episode 10, a sneak peek at the finale, and this isn't anything new or groundbreaking. This sneak peek was released officially by MGM themselves. I'm sure there might be some of you who have maybe already seen it, and if you have, totally cool. But I have a sneak peek scene of the finale that we are going to take a look at. It is only 1 minute, and it's not too spoilery, but it can give you some context for some things that might be happening. I haven't even seen the whole scene myself. I only watched the first 10 seconds of it, and then I stopped it because I kind of wanted to watch it live on stream. I didn't really want to even see what the clip says. So even I don't know everything that's in the clip. So I do want to just at least give that warning. If you are one of those who doesn't want to see a little sneak peek of the next episode, then I would suggest just maybe muting your mic or leaving the stream and then maybe coming back a minute later. Again, it's only a quick little 1-minute clip, but it is a sneak preview of the finale. And yes, Andy81, the Hatch polar bear is waiting. When I saw that hatch down in the root cellar, that was the first thing I thought of, was the hatch where Desmond is down pushing a button to save the world every 108 minutes. And I even worked that into my episode review when I was breaking the episode down. Soon as I saw that freaking hidden door there in that root cellar, just instant Lost vibes. But in this case, I get the feeling that door will most likely lead to the underground caves. I mean, it has to lead to the caves, doesn't it? Considering they're already underground. We know the caves are right beneath the town. So I have a feeling that hatch is probably going to lead to the caves. But yeah, that was my first thought when I saw those freaking hatch door is like, oh man, here we go. We're getting deep into lost territory now. Are we going to find Desmond down there pushing a button to keep Fromville from ending every 108 minutes, maybe? Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. And yes, RIP to the recast of the evil nurse. Yes, Ashley, I am 100% in agreement with you there. The actress who's playing the nurse in season 3 right now, I do want to give her credit though, because she had an incredible scene in episode 9 that was completely improv. For those who don't know, in episode 9, when we get to the scene of Boyd and Ellis inside the sheriff station at night, and Boyd goes up to the window, and we see the nurse monster kind of make the gesture of putting the gun to her head. Apparently, this gesture, the nurse doing this, was 100% improv. It was not in the script. It was not in any of the writing. For some reason, the actress just thought it would work, and Harold Perrineau's reaction to it was phenomenal. He had like an angry, like a visceral, angry reaction to it that he played so well as Boyd. But yeah, that's very interesting. I always love seeing that certain scenes are improv, because improv really kind of brings out the real creativity behind an actor. So the fact that, I mean, I know it's just a background actor, it's just one of the monsters, but the fact that she kind of had the presence of mind to do this motion of the gun being put to her head, and to know that that wasn't in the script, to know that it was just completely improv and she came up with that herself, the actress, it's really a testament to sometimes actors or actresses just really know what's going to work for the character that they're playing. Sometimes an actor just knows. So I love improv scenes like this. Kudos to the nurse actress for kind of improving that scene, and I think it worked well. I think it made the scene way better.
Yeah, the new nurse did good. I did like the older one, and I think she had the same thing. I still think they blacken between the teeth a little bit or something. There's something about their teeth. It was the same with Jasmine, and it was the same with the old nurse when she's in her human form, and it's almost the same reason. And Aldous would know this, and but in comics you don't draw individual teeth. You could like draw the upper teeth and maybe a line or two to indicate. You hint at it, and then the viewer's brain suggests it. But it really seems like they do that, and it looks unnatural, and it's hard. It's one of those uncanny valley things where you can't quite put your finger on it, exactly what is wrong with it. And for me, it just seems like that, like the individual teeth might be it, and I don't know if they did it on purpose or what, but that one, she just looked weird, and they're always a little pale, a little off. So they did something with the makeup that makes these guys look just about human, but not quite. And
a little bit creepy looking, yeah.
Exactly.
Indeed.
It's a little uncanny valley.
Yep.
Yeah, indeed. And again, I do kind of miss the nurse actress from season 2. She did have that very creepy kind of look where, every time we used to see Smiley on screen, he used to kind of just instill that unsettling kind of feeling. Every time you saw Smiley walking around with that creepy smile, this smile right here. And once he was gone, I mean, there really wasn't any other monsters that kind of gave me that feeling personally, apart from maybe the Granny monster a little bit, because she was just so iconic from being the first monster we ever see and super creepy. But then when this nurse monster came around, yeah, just again, just some actors are just born to play from monsters. They just have that look, that unique look. And the nurse monster had it in spades. She was super freaking creepy looking. So I was a little disappointed when they recast the role for season 3, but I am certainly not mad, for sure, especially after seeing the performance from this nurse monster. And this nurse monster is, a little bit cuter, I must say. She's kind of a cutie. But yeah, without further ado, let's dive into this preview scene, guys. And again, just a quick little warning. I have a quick little sneak preview of the finale. It's just a quick little 1-minute scene. And I haven't even seen all of it myself, so I'm not 100% sure everything that it entails. But just based off the first 10 seconds of it that I saw, I imagine it's probably going to be a scene that comes probably towards the beginning of the episode. So it's not really going to be big spoilery, I would imagine. But I just wanted to give that warning in case anybody doesn't want to see the sneak preview. Maybe leave the stream or mute your mic and come back in like a minute or so. It's just a quick little 1-minute scene and then it's over. But for everybody who does want to see the sneak preview, of episode 10, the season 3 finale. Here we have a quick little sneak preview glimpse.
But things are really how they seem.
Oof, man. Okay. Boyd, I need you to clear the house. Boyd getting ready to go full on Jack Bauer on Elgin and beat it out of him. Man, I doubt that's where
Cue the timer, right?
Well, he got interrupted. I mean, he wanted to take it to the monsters, and he got that whole plot line got diverted. He talked Kenny out of doing that, taking it to the monsters. So yeah, maybe he's got some pent up. I think Boyd's overdue, man. I think, everybody says, oh, the town ain't breaking Boyd. Man, I think the town is breaking Boyd. I think the town is getting to him. I think Boyd's on his last
Right.
nerve. So
well, I think that's the theme of the episode, of the whole season, right?
Yeah.
That was the first question that was asked in episode 1 is, you said it wasn't going to break you. Well, is it going to break you?
Who's going to be that straw that breaks the camel's back? There's going to be a straw.
Right. And so is at the end, is this the final thing that his daughter-in-law being pregnant, being kidnapped is going to be the moment that's what, it's not the monsters. It's not the terror. It's not the horror. It's not the metaphysical threat. It's the internal politics that's finally what breaks Boyd. It's what another person does, another survivor does internally.
The monsters couldn't do it.
The monsters couldn't do it, but another human could.
I've been waiting for a slap. I've been waiting for a Jap slap, like a paintbrush, a back and forth, blap, blap.
Yep.
And I think those big, chubby Elgin cheeks are just ripe for a
we know he's capable of it. Boyd gives Frank the mother of all pimp slaps early in season 1 when he smacks Frank. Smacks some sense into Frank in I believe it's episode 3. But yeah, he's capable. Yeah, maybe Boyd needs to get a little bit of aggression out of his system, and maybe he's going to take that out on Elgin's ass. But no, I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing how this is going to go. I mean, it seems like Elgin has kind of already tipped his mitt a little bit. I imagine it's probably just from that one conversation he had with Ellis. Maybe that one conversation was enough to create enough suspicion to at least, warrant a deeper talking with him. And again, I like how Boyd is coming to Sarah here in terms of, hey, I need you to talk to this kid, because if anybody's been through what he's going through, it's you. Nobody knows how well this place manipulates you than you do. So Sarah is the perfect candidate to get through to Elgin here in this moment and get him to realize, like, hey, whatever this kimono creature promised you, whatever she said, it is not in Fatima's best interest, and it damn sure ain't in the best interest of this town. You are being manipulated, kid. You're just too young and dumb and naive to realize it, kind of thing. So Sarah's a perfect candidate to kind of get through to Elgin here in this episode, and hopefully she does. Hopefully she does. But there we have it, guys. Quick little sneak preview of episode 10.
Yeah.
Man,
it was good. It was a good episode, a good little preview, and it didn't really spoil all that much. I mean, if you're absolutely averse to anything that ever happens, but really you saw a few people, and I love even like the trailers. I've always treated the trailers more as just like a roster of who is in the episode, kind of like checking in on who is in that episode rather than getting any substantive knowledge, because we know that they cut it out of sequence. We know that they overlay audio and dialogue that doesn't necessarily correspond to the scene that we're seeing, that kind of stuff. But yeah, some of those scenes that in the trailer were interesting too. I mean, it does show Boyd, it does show the caves, it does show obviously the violin. I know people went absolutely bananas trying to correspond the scene with Jade with his violin,
violin notes and the numbers.
Yeah. I wonder if anything is going to come of that.
Yeah, well, we do see Jade playing the violin in the episode 10 trailer, so we know he's going to be breaking that out at some point in the finale. And that's another thing. It's awesome that we're getting to see these actors hone some of their skills, their regular skills here on the show. Because for those who don't know, the actor who plays Jade, David Alpe, he's actually a world-class violin player. So every time we see Jade playing the violin on the show, it's most likely probably really the actor himself playing the violin, because he's actually a really good violinist, David Alpe. So yeah, we love Jade around here. Jade's my favorite character, and what can you say?
Okay, ding dongs. If you don't subscribe to Jeremy Ice and Fire, you're going to spend the night in the box.
Gotta love it. Got to love Jade. Love me some Jade. And I'm looking forward to seeing what his storyline is going to be like in this final episode. He's been a little bit quiet in these last 2 episodes where, the storyline has pretty much been predominantly focused on Fatima and the baby and stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Jade's ultimate role is going to be in this finale. I know we see him playing the violin near the faraway tree at some point, but what leads them there? Why is he playing it? What exactly is it going to lead to? Are we going to get some other kind of reveal? So I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of role they have in store for Jade in the finale, because Jade's always my favorite character.
Yeah, I thought that tree was I thought they were out by the ruins. For some reason, that tree it looked to me like stonework, but I think it is just the tree.
Oh. Yeah, it looks like it's the bottle faraway tree. Because we have this shot here of it too. Where's it at?
While you're looking
we also
for
have
it
this
too.
shot that was an interesting still that they released of Jade, with his hand to his temple. Looks like he's in some kind of agony or something. I don't know what's going on there, but this is a little preview still that Amazon releases every week. And I don't know what's happening here, but this is going to be in the finale. So we're going to get some interesting Jade action. But we also see, here it is, this one right here. We got Jade and Tabitha playing, and we can see the bottles in the background, the bottle tree. But why is he playing the freaking violin at the bottle tree? What the heck is going on here? I don't know, but I'm looking forward to finding out.
Is Victor in that scene where it would be significant to him?
Not sure. This is just a quick shot they show in the episode 10 teaser trailer, and this is all they show. Just a quick little glimpse of Jade in the background playing the violin and Tabitha looking at something. I don't know what. But yeah, there's no indication if Victor is there or not. I'm not sure. This is all the trailer shows.
Okay.
Awesome stuff. Yeah, is this series named Breaking Boyd? It could be. I mean, at the very least, you could name season 3 that 100%. It seems like from the very beginning of season 3 on, brought on by his declaration that he makes at the end of season 2 of "This place can't break me." But yes, from season 3, from the beginning of season 3 on, it seems like that was a huge, huge storyline of this place doing everything they possibly can to break Boyd. So even if not the whole series, you can definitely call season 3 Breaking Boyd. That was pretty much the goal for the monsters this season. See how much Boyd can really, really take. And again, he's been able to take a lot. He has been able to take a lot, but at some point, everybody has a breaking point, and Jack Bauer knows that better than everybody. But we got Omar for $10. I think Jim's time is up. Personal growth in a character that's purposely been in pain in the ass usually means their time is up. Someone's got to die. He's not that important compared to others. Yeah, Jim has never been like a huge, huge fan favorite here on the show. I mean, it's kind of become a meme here on our channel where every time Jim gets brought up, we see the entire chat just saying how much they hate Jim. Not everybody. I mean, there are some Jim fans out there, which I very much appreciate. I don't hate Jim personally. I definitely agree that he's a very flawed character and he's a flawed father, and he definitely makes a lot of mistakes as a father. But I'm always hoping that Jim's going to have some kind of nice redemption arc at some point. And I'm still hoping he might. But yeah, it's Jim has not been a fan favorite in these parts, to say the least. And Ravener, this is awesome as well, man. If you want to read this out loud to everybody, just in case anybody didn't see it earlier, awesome stuff. Thank you for being a member for 22 months, man. Wow.
Yep. Yeah,
wow.
Amazing.
Thank you,
amazing. Yeah, and I mean, for the people that don't know, literally, I was the first member. It was so funny.
First member. Yeah, right when memberships were available on the channel, you were actually the first person to become a member of the channel, and you've been a member ever since. So yeah, we've had memberships open for 22 months. Wow, holy cow!
That's
like
why
just
it is still
yesterday,
affectionately known as the Lord Ravener fan club.
Oh, I know. Yeah, Aldous made that too. In addition to making that awesome intro with I can't remember her name, Nina Simone, the awesome intro song. He also made the Ravener fan club finger emoji, and I was like, I was mortified at the time. I was like, oh my god, it was so funny. But yeah, man, it's crazy.
That's been one of the few that we've never changed out and never will, most likely. That one will always be there. We also got Omar Vasquez for $2. Thank you so much, Omar. Maybe Jade is having a flashback like Tabitha. Maybe. I mean, we know Jade is very prone to getting these kind of visions of the past every now and then. He's always having visions of things that are even interacting with him in some case. Like his visions actually grab him sometimes. So yeah, maybe Jade's going to have some kind of profound vision in this episode that maybe could potentially give us as the audience some kind of answer. I'd be totally down with seeing something like that, because I feel like, and I know I've said this multiple times too, but I feel like until Jade starts to learn to look at these visions that he's having throughout without fear, pretty much every time Jade has a vision, it scares the ever-loving crap out of him, it seems. So until Jade learns to conquer that fear, until he starts learning to look at these visions through a different lens other than the lens of fear, he's never going to be able to fully solve these visions or get the hint that they're trying to give them, because he's not just having random visions of random horrific shit. These visions he is having are most likely meant to be interpreted one way or another. And Jade, he's just not making much headway interpreting any of these visions because he gets scared as soon as he starts having them. So I think Jade really needs to conquer his fear. Once he stops being afraid of these visions, then I think he'll be able to interpret them a little bit better. But he's got to conquer that fear first.
Yeah, very true. He's not indulging the supernatural or the strange things when they come to him, but in the meantime he'll lay on the floor and look at he'll recreate the symbol and look at it for unlimited amounts of time and demand that it's important and put things on the wall. He's still almost in denial, or he's not quite ready to embrace. Even though he's being repeatedly exposed to these supernatural occurrences, he isn't quite ready to embrace them. And I think that'll be the key.
Yeah, he's got to learn to stop being so afraid of these things, embrace it, and just actually objectively ask yourself, what is this vision trying to tell me? And he'll get there. I think he'll get there. But thank you so much for the 2. We also got Panda Nikki for $6.99. Thank you so much, Panda Nikki. Very much appreciate you. Just giving some support. So excited. Come join us at the Discord watch party. If you haven't joined already, there's always room. Yes, indeed. We are getting closer and closer now, guys. We are just 20 minutes away from the season 3 finale hitting our screens, whether you're watching on MGM Plus, Amazon Prime, or whether you're hopping into the Discord and watching there. We are 20 minutes away now, guys, so get ready. It is coming. We also got Salt for $10. Thank you so much, Salt. I'm still giggling off the I'm ready to see a slap and the mother of all pimp slaps. You sound like sports commentators. What can I say? The Bostonian in me just comes out every once in a while. Sometimes you got to lay down the mother of all pimp slaps, as it were. Thank you so much for that, Salt. I very much appreciate you. And thank you for the 10 as well. Shit.
Yep, Elgin's overdue, man. Elgin's overdue for it.
He's overdue. He's overdue for a good old slap, I would say. I agree. We got Thomas as well. Thomas Q, thank you so much. Jim's still trying to think logically in Fromily. I know, right? And that's the thing, he came here early and he was so much trying to apply his kind of logical way of thinking, the way that he would think in the real world to this place. And I would even say Jade was kind of a similar mind for a little while as well, where Jade was trying to do everything he could to solve the riddles of this place when he arrived early on. And you just can't do that. You can't just think in your regular logical manner that you do in your everyday life here in Fromville. There's a different set of rules here in Fromville. There's a different nature to how things work. So yeah, until Jim and some of these other characters realize that, they're not going to make much headway in their theory crafting and looking for answers, because yes, they're still kind of tied to that old way of thinking of logic, where sometimes some of the stuff here just isn't logical at all. So yeah, I very much agree with you. Very much agree.
I think they're polarized points. They're the polarized points on opposite sides, right? Because they both arrived and tried to be logical. Jim looked at it as a problem to be solved. Jade looked at it as a puzzle that was created for him to fix, right? They both came to the same realization at one point. There was a moment of cross section where they were at the same apex, and they went, "Oh my God, it's beyond what we expected."
I was
Jim retained. Jim retained his view of it's logical and it's reasoned and I can work this out. Jade went, okay, it's metaphysical and there's something beyond, and I have to listen to the voice and I have to listen to my visions. That moment when he's up on the ladder and the guy Christopher's with Jasper, he goes, I'm just tired of you. You know, he's dismissive.
This whole shtick isn't working for me anymore. Yeah,
right.
Almost falls
because
off the ladder.
He can't figure it out. He's frustrated, just as Jim is frustrated that it's not fitting his logical paradigm. Jade, who embraced the metaphysical concept, is now frustrated because he can't get the answers. They're both at the same place on opposite sides of the coin.
No, I 100% agree. That's actually a really good way of putting it too, because Jim is still kind of trying to think in that logical manner in terms of how to solve these things. But Jade, he did start to open up his mind a little bit to the kind of more mystical and supernatural aspects, where at first Jade was only trying to solve things here in a very ones and zeros, very binary, tech savvy kind of way. Then he starts having these visions of the symbol, and you slowly see him start to, like you said, recognize the metaphysical part of this place, but they were still trying to make it fit within their still pre-existing worldviews. And again, this is just a place that we just don't know anything about. The rules are different here. Nature is different here. And that's one of the things you need to kind of come to a realization. If you're ever going to have any hope of solving any of this weirdness that is going wrong, you kind of have to discard the old way of thinking and adopt a new way of thinking. And I guess we'll see who manages to do that and who doesn't as we get closer and closer to getting to the end game of this story, because it seems like once season 3 ends, the beginning is over and we're well into the middle and the ending from season 4 on.
No, and I think that's important. I think to a degree season 1's the prologue and maybe a little bit of season 2, and then really this is act 1, and what we're moving into is act 2. And where you're going into in act 2 is you're going to see to use the Joseph Campbell approach, you've accepted the journey, and now you're going to go into the trials, and we're going to start seeing the trials, and then coming out of the trials, you're going to get a 2-part of ramifications and then resolution. But to go back a little bit to Jim and why Jim is different than Jade, Jim has a different set of responsibilities than Jade. And I understand there's a lot of Jim hate out there, but Jim is a father that's in a marriage that's crumbling, who lost a child, who's trying to maintain both his morose sense of balancing his mourning for his child while at the same time being present for his kids. And he's failing in one regard and overcompensating in another. Right? So he's a broken person in a broken system in a broken place. But he's still clinging. The only thing he has is logic. It's everything else in his life is broken.
It's clinging to that structure and trying desperately to kind of hold on to that structure of his family now.
Exactly. Whereas Jade's the exact opposite. Jade is an agent of chaos. He has always been an agent of chaos. He's got the freedom to do whatever he wants. He just sold this company for millions of dollars. He was tasting the level of freedom where you have fuck you money. Right?
Yeah.
And he has no strings, no strings, and no attachments, and he gets trapped in this world. And what you're seeing is they both start from the same point. It's the external factors on what they have responsibility wise is affecting their choice pattern. And that's how I think they're the opposite. I think if you look at those two characters, as the opposite sides of the coin. Season 3 starts to make sense in the same way that you look at if you look at Boyd and Randall in the same opposite sides of the coin sense, or even Boyd and Acosta to a certain degree.
Yeah. And we do see some of that mirror parallel aspect with a lot of these characters where some of them do kind of seem like different sides to the same coin. And yeah, Jade and Jim, you can definitely say that they probably fit that bill maybe a little bit more than anybody. And I guess it's all a matter of who is going to adapt to this place a little bit better. I mean, Jade has been trying to adapt to the more metaphysical part of this place, but he's still resisting it to the point where these visions are making him so afraid. He needs to learn to embrace that aspect. He needs to learn to embrace these visions, and then maybe he'll finally start to solve them a little bit. But this was an interesting one here from Peter Laboon. Thank you so much, Peter. I think we're all in for a big surprise in tonight's episode. Something that hasn't been leaked anywhere. What are your thoughts? Oof, interesting. Now, I've been lucky enough to avoid most of the leaks, and again, it sucks that I've had to kind of limit my engagement with the fandom over this last week or so. But I luckily I've been able to kind of avoid the leaks as a result. So in terms of big surprises that might be coming in this episode, shit. Big surprises that might be coming in this episode. I don't know. I feel like I know it'll be some kind of surprise, but I get the feeling season 3 will most likely end on some kind of big cliffhanger. It seems like every season has been kind of in that format, where season 1 ends with the massive cliffhanger of Boyd being stuck inside the shaft. Season 2 ends with the massive cliffhanger of Tabitha being back in the real world. I get the feeling they're probably going to continue to follow that format every single season, where hopefully in this finale, we get something definitive, whether it's some kind of answer, some kind of big clue, something that really gives us, something to really chew on while we wait for season 4 to come around. So I get the feeling we're going to get something like that, but it will be most likely in the form of some kind of massive cliffhanger to end the episode off on. But yeah, in terms of like just anything big specifically that is going to happen, I'm not sure. I'm really looking forward to seeing what Fatima is going to happen. What's going to happen with Fatima? Are we going to see the end game of this pregnancy? That was another big question I had going in. What storylines are they going to be able to successfully tie up this season? And what storylines are they going to kind of tie over and carry over into season 4? Because there's so many storylines going on right now that realistically, they're just not going to be able to wrap every single one of them up in only one episode. There are going to be some storylines that will probably carry over into season 4. So that's my big question I have going into this episode is, what storylines do they tie up this season, and what storylines do they kind of save for season 4 and beyond? Because they're not going to be able to wrap up every single one of these threads, obviously. I imagine they'll wrap up a good, decent amount of them, but they will probably set up some things for season 4 and beyond. But what
I
about
think
you,
you're wrong, man.
Aldous?
I think you're wrong. I don't think they're going to answer very many things. I think it's.
You don't think we'll get any answers?
I think
where
you want to end. If you're assuming that, like, and before I joined tonight, you and Ravener were talking about this series is most likely going to be a 5, more than like a 5 to a 6, if not a 7 series run. Not much more beyond that. They've got to have a general plan, because you don't start out without a general plan. And then you have to have, you have
going.
as
It's just
Jay,
the A to B that they're kind of filling in on the way, but they know where they're going.
right. And J. Michael Stravinsky talks about this, that you build trapdoors when you're building a series and you're presenting a series, that after you get greenlit for season 1, you've got trapdoors where you can sum it up in 2 seasons or 3 seasons or 4 seasons. It's not the story you want to tell, but you can give people that encapsulated volume.
Yeah.
They've got a plan. It's going to be within that structure. They just got greenlit for 4. You're not going to get all the answers in this episode. You're going to get a couple answers.
Not possible. We're going to get a few, though. Yeah.
You're going to get a couple answers, but you're going to get at least one big question, because we're in act. I would argue again, man, we're at the start of act 2 right now. And where you want to end on this note is, you're going to want to have a sacrifice of some kind, and you're going to want to have a risk assessment. And somebody's going to have to step into a realm that they haven't stepped in before. But you have to have a sacrifice. There's got to be a cost assessment. Somebody's got to pay some kind of cost. Famously in Empire Strikes Back, that's Luke losing a hand. In other trilogies that have significant value, there's other aspects of it, but there's got to be a cost that's paid. That cost doesn't have to be terminal, but it has to be significant. And I think you're gonna see that in this episode.
Okay.
And where that plays into it, and where that goes, that is dependent upon who that affects and what the cost is. Is that Boyd sacrificing himself to save Fatima? Yeah. Is that Jim sacrificing himself to save his kids and to get the possession of the locusts away? Or is it Randall sacrificing himself in a moment of redemption? You don't know. We're going to find out here in, what are we at? We're at what, 8
We are
minutes?
just a few minutes away now. Yes, and I didn't even realize how quick we were to the finale hitting our screens. Holy crap, we are 8 minutes away now, guys. And I guess that's why Ravener dumped out. Ravener is probably setting up the watch party in Discord right now. So we are going to get ready to close down here in a few minutes as well. But no, I tend to agree with this as well. We'll get some answers. And yes, those answers are going to lead to some new questions heading into season 4. And that's how I kind of see all of these seasons usually ending, where they'll give us a little bit of an answer that, will give us something substantial, but that answer that we get will most likely only lead to some more questions heading into season 4. And I imagine that's probably going to be the playbook that they continue to use every season finale, end every season off on a massive cliffhanger that gives them something, but also gives them new questions heading into the next season. And it's a winning formula. There's a reason why so many shows use formulas like that. But here we go, guys. We are getting closer and closer now to the season 3 finale. And yeah, I would love a From video game too. Absolutely, Jonathan. Jonathan Powers with a winning comment right there. I vote for a From video game. Hell yes. A nice open world Fromville video game that you can really just open world access the whole map. You got to find somewhere with an enclosed space with a talisman while it starts to get dark. That could be like an awesome Red Dead Redemption style video game with just an open ass map. I would love to play that. But that'll be a conversation for tomorrow night. We'll talk a little bit more about the video game stuff because I like where your head's at, Jonathan. Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. But yeah, here we go, guys. Yeah, and I will, Mond. I will be very mad if Jade dies in the finale. I will be I mean, it's one of those things where if Jade dies, we riot kind of situations. Nothing better happen to Jade. But here we go, guys. Here we go. The final episode is approaching, so anybody who wants to join the watch party, hop on into the Discord. I'm sure it is getting set up right now in stages. Actually, it's already been set up, so Ravener's probably just getting ready to load up the episode once it drops on MGM+. So anybody who wants to join into the live watch party, hop on into the Discord now. And obviously, when the episode is done watching, we'll be doing an after show inside the Discord, inside the voice chat, where we'll be talking about the episode in depth. So if you're not joining the watch party and you want to kind of just join the after discussion, that is totally fine as well. If you're watching on your own screen at home, nothing wrong with that. If you want to join us for discussion afterwards, totally cool. But here we go, guys. We are 6 minutes away from season 3's finale. And yeah, again, I just want to give a big thank you to everybody who came out and joined us tonight and every single night, every single week. You guys have been showing up in record numbers. I cannot thank you enough for all of the support that you guys have shown us, this channel, this fandom, this community. Everything. You guys have been so freaking awesome, and we're going to continue. I mean, I know season 3 might end tonight, but the Fromville party does not stop here. Starting next week, we are going to be diving headfirst right into our complete Fromville rewatch parties, where we rewatch every single episode all the way from the beginning of season 1, episode 1, and now with the added context of actually having seen all of season 3, I imagine we're going to be able to go back to those earlier seasons and those earlier episodes, and we'll be able to pick up so much stuff that we didn't pick up prior now that we have that added context. The mystery box style of storytelling is very much set up in that manner, where every time you get new chapters of the story, you can go back and read earlier chapters, and things will just make more sense. And I imagine that'll happen here as well. It happened for us in season 2. When season 2 ended, we went back and rewatched season 1, and we found so much stuff that we didn't notice the first time because we didn't have context to look for it. So we will be doing the same thing here. Next week, we will be diving right into the season 1 rewatch party. And again, I imagine we're going to pick up on a ton of stuff that we missed. But there is the link to the watch party in the Discord. All you got to do is click that, and it will take you there. Or if you're watching on your own screen or on your own TV, that is totally fine, and you want to come join the discussion in the Discord afterwards, that is fine as well. But there is the link right now for anybody who wants to join the watch party. And again, big thank you to everybody for joining us this night. We are going to close it down. You guys got around 4 or 5 minutes or so to Get yourself, get your bathroom breaks in, get your snacks in, get your drinks in, get your cannabis ready, which I am going to be doing myself. We are big cannabis advocates here on this channel, at least I am personally. But here we go, guys. Season 3 is coming to a close, and then we are going to relive the entire thing from the beginning all over again. But again, huge thank you to all of you for joining us tonight. And as always, stay safe out there, guys, in this crazy, crazy world. And as always, don't be afraid to keep that tinfoil hat on. Don't be afraid to dive into that rabbit hole. And we will see you on the next one. Oh, that's right. Oh, that's right. And I forgot. Tomorrow night, we are doing the giveaway. The live from Will giveaway is happening right here on the channel tomorrow night for our encore watch party. We'll be going live at 8 p.m. Eastern. We'll be doing our regular watch party that we do at 9 o'clock. Then after the watch party is over, we will officially be doing the From Will giveaway, and we will be giving away at random raffle to anybody who enters free 3D printed talismans, some awesome looking 3D printed talismans. And again, huge thank you to Nick L for 3D printing these talismans and donating them to the giveaway. They look absolutely phenomenal. And this is going to be something that you guys are going to love to hang up in your room. And they're even complete with the patented Fromily twine to hang the thing up in any window or any door that you would like. So there we go, folks. Tomorrow night, the giveaway will be going on right here in the channel, and you guys will have a special chance to win some awesome 3D printed Fromily talismans. And it looks like there's also some mini Fromily talisman keychains and some other little stuff that you'll have a chance to win as well. And all you have to do to enter is be a subscriber of the channel and be present in the live chat tomorrow night when we go live, and it'll be a free random raffle. You can win at random, and you'll have a chance to win some really, really cool Fromily stuff. The 3D printed talismans, the mini talisman keychains, really, really cool stuff. And again, big thank you to Nick L for donating this for the giveaway. So until next time, until tomorrow night for the giveaway, we will see you guys on the next one.